says that there will be no export, there will be no import of dairy products. But there in the fine print, in the New Zealand documentation, is that we'll be exporting milk powder for infants, we'll be importing baby food, which means that you're hitting Amul spray, which is a big profit center of Amul. Are you destroying India's milk industry? This double talk is what I'm scared of. We are allowing them access to Indian markets. New Zealand is a classic case, which is going to hurt us badly. And please remember that milk is 5% of India's GDP, and that 5% is larger than rice and wheat put together. Which means 5% of India's GDP gets impacted. 5% of the entire Indian farming community will lose their incomes, which in turn means poor rural demand, poor consumption, which means less offtake from Indian industry, which means that your economy is a little slow. Okay, first, the world is changing rapidly. The US is in decline. The EU is in decline, with the US and the EU separating because of Greenland. Both will decline faster. Canada has gone to China, not to India, even though India is a large market. Why? Because China has a focused area on what to import, and they're more credible in long-term commercial arrangements. As a result, Trump has threatened 100% tariffs on Canada. Canada's not worried. They'll just stop aluminum imports by USA from Canada. None of the industry will survive without aluminum. Power comes from Canada. They'll put up a duty. They've already put a duty on power, and that makes American manufacturing that much more expensive. That's one part. The second part is India saying that we're going to have access to defense technologies. What defense technologies? Give me one European country that has shared the technology with India. They give you semi-knockdown kits, assemble them, they teach us how to screwdriver it, and they say, we share technology with India. The only country that has shared defense technology with India is Russia. To some extent, Israel, but Israel is a bad name today because of genocide, because of ethnic cleansing. Given these realities, why are you looking only at those markets? What defense technology are you going to take from there? Engineering goods in Germany have now become almost twice the price that they were earlier because of high energy costs, high labor costs. And the more Europe and America try to slow down immigration, the more expensive will their own labor become, and that in turn impacts the cost of goods and services. AI? China has more advanced AI than anyone in Europe. Europe has missed the AI bus completely.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
Amity University has been ranked India's #1 university for business and economics and the #1 private university for computer science by Times Higher Education Subject Rankings 2026, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked standards in education.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा मसाला।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
In a major escalation between the White House and Wall Street, President Donald Trump has filed a massive lawsuit against one of the world's most powerful financial institutions. The president is suing J.P. Morgan Chase and its CEO, Jamie Dimon, seeking at least $5 billion in damages.
No, I haven't spoken. No, he debanked me. So we'll see if that beats anything, but I think it should. You shouldn't be debanked. Get debanked if you don't have money or if you fall to have this great company, and all of a sudden I was told, no, you can't do that. It's so wrong. It's so wrong. I don't know what their excuse would be. Maybe their excuse would be the regulators. I don't know. But regardless, I guess it's a good lawsuit because every pundit has come out and said Trump has a great lawsuit here. You're not allowed to do what they did. Jamie Dimon, what he did, he's not allowed to do that.
The lawsuit, filed on Thursday, January 22nd in Miami-Dade County State Court, centers on a controversial practice known as debanking. The president alleges that the bank has systematically denied services to him and his associated businesses, not because of financial risk, but due to political bias. This isn't just a dispute over a checking account. This is a high-stakes legal battle that accuses the largest bank in the United States of trade libel, bad faith, and violating state consumer protection laws. The core of the complaint
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल ये रंग दे ये खुशबू दे ये तीखा ये कम पड़े क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
In a major escalation between the White House and Wall Street, President Donald Trump has filed a massive lawsuit against one of the world's most powerful financial institutions. The president is suing J.P. Morgan Chase and its CEO, Jamie Dimon, seeking at least $5 billion in damages.
No, I haven't spoken. No, he debanked me. So we'll see if that beats anything, but I think it should. You shouldn't be debanked. Get debanked if you don't have money or if you fall to have this great company, and all of a sudden I was told, no, you can't do that. It's so wrong. It's so wrong. I don't know what their excuse would be. Maybe their excuse would be the regulators. I don't know. But regardless, I guess it's a good lawsuit because every pundit has come out and said Trump has a great lawsuit here. You're not allowed to do what they did. Jamie Dimon, what he did, he's not allowed to do that.
The lawsuit, filed on Thursday, January 22nd in Miami-Dade County State Court, centers on a controversial practice known as debanking. The president alleges that the bank has systematically denied services to him and his associated businesses, not because of financial risk, but due to political bias. This isn't just a dispute over a checking account. This is a high-stakes legal battle that accuses the largest bank in the United States of trade libel, bad faith, and violating state consumer protection laws. The core of the complaint is that J.P. Morgan Chase violated Florida's deceptive trade practices law. The legal team for the president argues that Florida law explicitly prohibits financial institutions from terminating accounts or denying services based on a person's political opinions, speech, or affiliations. According to the complaint reviewed by Bloomberg, Trump's lawyers state that, quote, debanking is a matter of public interest and significant importance to all consumers and businesses.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Good morning, viewers. You're watching Republic TV with me, Hina Sharma, and today we start the morning by telling you about a sports conclave that Republic Media Network is presenting to you. Republic Media Network presents the R4 Sports Conclave, a premier national platform bringing together India's finest athletes, sports leaders and policymakers. Now, from Olympic champions and elite performers to institutional voices shaping the future of Indian sport, the R4 Sports Conclave will go beyond medals to examine the systems, the mindset and the leadership driving India's sporting rise. This is all about mindset, infrastructure, accountability and winning the right way. Join us on 28th of January 2026 live from the Republic Media Network headquarters in Noida as we bring you powerful stories, bold conversations and an inside look at what it truly takes to build champions for India. This is the R4 Sports Conclave, shaping the future of Indian sports. Let's take a look at the headlines. Minister Manohar Lal Pant's son booked after Fortuner mows down bikers in UP's Lalitpur. Mamta's shocking comment on Beldanga violence. She says 30% community can block roads, shut companies. "50 students hospitalized after stomach and vomiting after they were given medicines in government school in Karnataka's Shivamoga." Lalu family feud deepens as Rohini Acharya hits out at brother Tejasvi Yadav yet again. Arijit Singh announces retirement from playback singing. Alright, a big breaking news coming in from Jammu and Kashmir. A powerful avalanche has struck the Sonmarg village area. No casualty or injuries have been reported so far, but a massive avalanche swept through the Sarbal area of Sonmarg in Jammu and Kashmir's Ganderbal district Tuesday night, engulfing houses and vehicles. Now, despite the scale and impact of the incident, officials confirmed that no casualties or injuries have been reported so far in the incident. Now, authorities said that the avalanche hit the popular Sonmarg tourist area at 10:12 p.m. on Tuesday, sending a large amount of snow rushing down the mountain toward nearby homes and hotels. Now, one CCTV footage recorded the movement of the snowstorm moved forward and covered the buildings in its path. So here on your screens, you can see the CCTV footage, which clearly shows how severe the avalanche strike was in Sonmarg in this particular area. But what is fortunate in this incident is that no casualties took place in Sonmarg, but a massive snowstorm as winters continue to engulf the Jammu and Kashmir region. Here on your screens, CCTV footage clearly shows how a massive avalanche is engulfing all the buildings in the surrounding. You can see snow everywhere and a big avalanche hits the buildings. Fortunately, no casualties. All right. Now, another news we are tracking is a massive fire tragedy which took place in Kolkata has left at least 8 people dead and over 20 feared missing. Now, the blaze ripped through warehouse complex in Nazirabad, Anandpura, exposing serious safety lapses and delayed response as rescue and forensic operations continue. Questions are now being raised over accountability and the absence of the Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee at the site.
A massive fire broke out in storage units in Nazirabad, Anandpur, West Bengal. The blaze spread rapidly from a decorator's warehouse to a momo manufacturing unit fed by highly inflammable material. At least 8 people were killed in the fire. More than 20 workers are reportedly missing, many believed to have been inside the warehouse. The aftermath reveals charred remains and skeletal debris. bodies recovered are badly burned, with forensic teams called in for identification. Pressed on delayed response and accountability, the minister Firhad Hakim refused clear answers. The confrontation by Republic ended with the minister walking away.
দাদা একটা প্রশ্ন করব একটাই প্রশ্ন যে এতক্ষণ সময় কেন লাগলো আপনি তো রাজ্যের মন্ত্রী আপনার তো দায়িত্ব নেওয়া দরকার ছিল আপনার তো দায়িত্ব নেওয়া দরকার ছিল
তোমারও তো আমার দরকার ছিল
কিন্তু আপনার সময়টা এত দেরি হলো কেন আপনি তো রাজ্যের মন্ত্রী
আমি বাবু তোমাকে কি কৈফিয়ত দেব
না সেক্ষেত্রে মুখ্যমন্ত্রী মমতা বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায় বিভিন্ন জায়গায় যান এখানে এতগুলো মানুষ বেঠকে প্রাণ হারালো মমতা বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায় কেন পৌঁছলেন না সেক্ষেত্রে দমকল মন্ত্রী সুজিত বসুর আসতেও 32 ঘন্টা সময় চলে গেল দমকল মন্ত্রীর এত সময় লাগলো দমকল মন্ত্রীরও প্রায় 32 ঘন্টা লেগে গেল সময়
ঠিক আছে আমি আর যাই
না আপনি তো রাজ্যের মন্ত্রী সেক্ষেত্রে আপনারও তো দায় বর্তায় এতগুলো নিরীহ মানুষ বেঠকে প্রাণ হারালো দাদা এইটুকু উত্তরটা দিয়ে যান যে সময়টা এত কেন লাগলো
Firefighting continues for over 30 hours as searches for the missing go on. But the Chief Minister Mamta Banerjee has yet not visited the site, even as families wait for answers. A typical case of callous apathy from the Mamta Banerjee.
Now, in another news, a potential disaster was narrowly avoided in Khandwa after police uncovered a huge cache of explosives at an illegal firecracker factory operating inside a residential colony. Now, over 20 quintals of gunpowder and bomb-making material were seized while the accused have gone absconding. Here is more in this report.
Khandwa police raided a deserted house near Sinhara village and recovered around 20 quintals of sutli bombs and gunpowder used for making explosives. Rope bombs were found drying on the rooftops of a nearby dilapidated building, along with sulfur, ammonia and other hazardous material. Police suspect the factory was being run by two individuals linked to the Congress party, including the son of a former minister and a firecracker businessman.
पिकअप गाड़ी वहाँ पे देखी गई जिसमें से 2-3 लोग भागते हुए दिखे जब पास में जाके इन्होंने चेक किया तो वहाँ काफ़ी बड़ी संख्या में बोरे रखे हुए थे जिसमें सुतली बम रखे पाए गए.
This seized material is valued at rupees 20 lakh nearly. A motorcycle reportedly owned by a Congress leader was also recovered. Investigation is underway.
All right, now a potential disaster was narrowly avoided in Khandwa, as we just showed you, after police uncovered a huge cache of explosives at an illegal firecracker factory operating inside a residential colony. Over 20 quintals of gunpowder and bomb-making material were seized while the accused have gone absconding. Now,
a normal school day turned into a medical emergency. In Naralihalli village of Bhadravati Taluk, more than 50 government school children suddenly complained of severe stomach pain and vomiting. The incident occurred at the government higher primary school where 53 students were rushed to the Bhadravati Taluk government hospital. According to sources, the children fell ill after consuming the midday meal provided at the school. Soon after lunch, teachers also distributed vitamin and iron tablets to the students. But within minutes, several children began complaining of stomach pain followed by vomiting. As the condition of the children worsened, teachers and parents rushed them to the hospital in panic. Doctors have confirmed that all children are stable and out of danger and the situation is under control. Meanwhile, authorities are now probing whether the illness was caused by the midday meal or a reaction to the tablets given after lunch.
Chamoli, Wankuling and Kannauj districts in Uttarakhand were blanketed in fresh snowfall, transforming the landscapes into a winter wonderland. Now the cold spell has affected local travel and daily routines, with roads and pathways requiring careful navigation. Authorities have advised residents and tourists to exercise caution, while scenic spots are attracting visitors eager to witness the snow-covered vistas. Now the snowfall is expected to continue in some areas over the next few days. More than 50 students at a government school in Arihali village, Bhadravati Taluk, Shivamoga district were hospitalized after experiencing stomach pain and vomiting following their midday meal and the distribution of vitamin and iron tablets. Now teachers and parents have rushed the children to Bhadravati Taluk Government Hospital, where doctors confirmed that all the students are stable and out of danger, with treatment ongoing. Bhadravati BEO Nagendra Dappa visited the hospital and is gathering details about the incident. Air India unveiled its first custom-built Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner, showcasing newly designed cabins as part of the airline's fleet standardization plan. Now, the aircraft features modern interiors aimed at enhancing passenger comfort and operational efficiency. Gujarat's Barda Wildlife Sanctuary in Porbandar, spanning 192 square kilometers, is witnessing rising wildlife numbers as the state expands conservation efforts beyond Gir. Now home to diverse species and seasonal migratory waterbirds, Barda now offers guided morning and evening jungle safaris launched in October 2024, promoting ecotourism while ensuring visitor safety. With plans to enhance facilities and infrastructure, the sanctuary represents Gujarat's continued commitment to wildlife preservation and sustainable tourism. Alright, in another news, major national airlines come together and unite, nudging the government to relax the new crew rest rules that came into force on 1st of November last year. Now, these airlines together, flying 95% of passengers, contend the regulation is unsustainable in the long run. Now, they cited operational crisis faced by Indigo in December last year. As a consequence, here is a full report on the matter.
On the heels of a major operational crisis, representatives from India's leading airlines, including Indigo, SpiceJet and others, met with the Secretary of Civil Aviation and senior government officials, as they collectively push for a permanent relaxation for the revised flight duty time limitation norms. This meeting was held earlier last week, as Indigo and the Ministry of Civil Aviation held a meeting following a record 22.20 crore fine levied on the airline. This over the penalty that was imposed after a 4-member inquiry committee determined that Indigo had failed to adequately plan for the new flight duty time limitation norms, leading to a massive operational chaos and over 2,500 flight cancellations in the December of 2025. And the irony to be noted, this crisis could have easily been averted had the FDTL norms not been imposed, as airlines are now restricted by the newly imposed norms. And airlines, which have a surplus in terms of pilot availability at work versus pilots required, are now in a circumstance of having to hire more to meet the new FDTL directives. What remains to be seen is if the Ministry of Civil Aviation now budges in response, and how airlines navigate these new waters and avoid being a repetition of Indigo's operational meltdown in December.
Now, ahead of the assembly elections in West Bengal this year, a major row has erupted. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee's remarks on community strength and public disruption have drawn attention. Now, speaking at a conference, the Chief Minister referred to the impact of angering large population groups, linking protests and blockades to community numbers. Here is more in this report.
Mamata Banerjee said that if 30% of people from a particular community are angered, roads could be blocked and businesses disrupted. She referred to shutdowns and rail blockades, warning against daily conflict.
ऐसा बात है कि अगर हमारा 30% कोई कम्युनिटी का आदमी हो, हम झगड़ा करेगा तो वो रोज रोड अवरोध करेगा, वो आपको कंपनी बंद कर देगा, हमारा जीने हराम कर देगा। तो ऐसे 26% हमारा शेड्यूल कास्ट भी है, हमारा 6% ट्राइबल भी है। आप ट्राइबल का ऊपर देखो, एक भी चीज़ होता है ना तो रेल रोक करके बैठता है, वो नहीं उठता है। तो इसी के लिए हम तो नहीं चाहते हैं, हम चाहते हैं सब बराबर रहे, अपना अपना का माफिक, कोई किसी का बातों में इंटरफेयर नहीं करेगा।
Mamata Banerjee said she does not want trouble and wants every community to live in its own way. However, her comments seem to be more aligned with appeasement politics.
Alright, Lalu Prasad Yadav's daughter Rohini Acharya has once again attacked her brother and RJD's newly appointed National Executive President Tejasvi Yadav. Rohini Acharya posted on her ex social media questioning why no action was taken even after the post-election review. In her post, Rohini Acharya wrote, "What everyone has done for Laluji and the party is evident from the results of the Lok Sabha and the recent assembly elections and the current state of the party." Now, Rohini also questioned on the results of the review meeting that was held after party's devastating performance at the last assembly elections. More in this report.
The war within Bihar's most powerful and influential political family is back in open. This time the attack is fierce and personal. Lalu Prasad Yadav's daughter Rohini Acharya has launched yet another blistering assault on her own brother Tejasvi Yadav, just days after his elevation as the RJD's National Working President. Without naming Tejasvi directly, Rohini accused the man entrusted with the party's future has pushed RJD to the brink of ruin. She further said that until no one comes forward to take accountability, questions will continue to be raised. Rohini went further, challenging the party leadership to face questions in the open, daring them to show moral courage instead of running from the truth. Rohini questioned the credibility of the party's so-called post-election review, asking whether it was nothing more than a sham meant to shield those responsible for the party's humiliating defeat. Her message was sharp, sarcastic and scathing, asking why no action was taken, why the review report remains under wraps, and why those questioned have faced no consequences. Under Tejasvi's leadership, the RJD suffered a crushing defeat in the Bihar Assembly elections. The decision of Tejasvi's elevation has exposed deep cracks within the first family of the RJD. Earlier, Rohini Acharya, who once donated a kidney to her father, didn't hold back, mocking Tejasvi's elevation as the coronation of a prince turned puppet. Can a party survive an opposition attack when its fiercest critic sits within the family?
Alright, here's what making headlines in the world of business. As Budget 2026 approaches, investors and tax experts are calling for refinements to India's capital gains tax regime. Now, key demands include a reduction in the long-term capital gain rate, higher exemption limits, uniform holding periods across asset classes, and restoration of indexation benefits. As of now, long-term capital gains stands at 12%, but investors seek 10% LTCG as part of reform. India and European Union announced the conclusion of a historic free trade agreement alongside the launch of their first ever security and defense partnership, making a significant expansion of cooperation between the world's two largest democratic blocs. Highlighting the scale of engagement between the two sides, the Prime Minister noted that the bilateral trade $180 billion, while nearly 8 lakh Indians reside across EU member states. In a move to resolve the never-ending struggle for loose change in daily transactions, the central government is set to introduce a high-tech finance solution, which is hybrid ATMs. These machines are designed specifically to distribute small denomination notes like rupees 10, 20 and 50 rupees, while also allowing users to exchange large 500 rupees bills for smaller currency. India is aiming to manufacture advanced 3 nanometer and eventually 2 nanometer semiconductor chips by the early 2030s, Union IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav said while interacting with startups under the Design-Linked Incentive Scheme on 27th of January. He said that by 2029, India would develop strong capabilities to design and manufacture semiconductor chips used in 70 to 75% of domestic applications, with the next phase under Semicon 2.0 focused on cutting-edge nodes. Alright, in news from Karnataka Chief Minister Siddharamaiah on Tuesday lost his cool and shouted at some youth Congress workers who started raising slogans in favor of Deputy CM DK Shivkumar during a protest rally in the city. Now this has added fuel to the already existing power tussle in the Karnataka's power struggle. The video shows the Chief Minister Siddharamaiah losing his cool, trying to shut those chanting Shivkumar's name when he is called upon to speak. More in this report.
Karnataka's simmering power struggle within the Congress has burst into the open. And this time it played out onto stage. Chief Minister Siddharamaiah visibly lost his cool, snapping at a group chanting in support of his deputy DK Shivkumar.
ಯೂತ್ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ನವರು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಇರಿ ಸೈಲೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿ
ಸಾಕು.
The slogans rang out just as the Chief Minister was called to speak, triggering an angry reaction. In the video, Siddharamaiah is trying to shut down the chants, clearly irritated. The tension didn't stop there. The host of the event is heard sternly warning youth Congress workers to maintain silence, even threatening consequences if the sloganeering continued. What was meant to be a party program quickly turned into a public display of internal discord. The incident has added fresh fuel to the already loud power-sharing battle between Siddharamaiah and Shivkumar camps. The speculation has been fueled by the reported power-sharing arrangement between Siddharamaiah and DKS at the time of the government formation in 2023. The two leaders have sought meetings with Congress High Command to seek clarity. The question that is now remaining: can the Congress manage its internal war before it spirals further out of control?
Alright, coming up, Mamta's shocking comment on Beldanga violence. She says 30% community can block roads, shut companies.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर मसाला
Amity University has been ranked India's #1 university for business and economics and the #1 private university for computer science by Times Higher Education Subject Rankings 2026, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked standards in education.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने.
Pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
In a major escalation between the White House and Wall Street, President Donald Trump has filed a massive lawsuit against one of the world's most powerful financial institutions. The president is suing J.P. Morgan Chase and its CEO, Jamie Dimon, seeking at least $5 billion in damages.
No, I haven't gone to deep bank to me. So we'll see if that beeps anything, but I think it should. You shouldn't be debanked. Get debanked if you don't have money or if you fall to have this great company, and all of a sudden I was told, no, you can't do that. It's so wrong. It's so wrong. I don't know what their excuse would be. Maybe their excuse would be the regulators. I don't know. But regardless, I guess it's a good lawsuit because every pundit has come out and said Trump has a great lawsuit here. You're not allowed to do what they did. Jamie Dimon, what he did, he's not allowed to do that.
The lawsuit, filed on Thursday, January 22nd in Miami-Dade County State Court, centers on a controversial practice known as de-banking. The president alleges that the bank has systematically denied services to him and his associated businesses, not because of financial risk, but due to political bias. This isn't just a dispute over a checking account. This is a high-stakes legal battle that accuses the largest bank in the United States of trade libel, bad faith, and violating state consumer protection laws. The core of the complaint is that J.P. Morgan Chase violated Florida's deceptive trade practices law. The legal team for the president argues that Florida law explicitly prohibits financial institutions from terminating accounts or denying services based on a person's political opinions, speech, or affiliations. According to the complaint reviewed by Bloomberg, Trump's lawyers state that, quote, de-banking is a matter of public interest and significant importance to all consumers and businesses in the United States of America. They argue that J.P. Morgan Chase, given its history and size, is a central actor in what they call a troubling saga. This lawsuit frames this not just as a personal grievance, but as part of a broader campaign against the weaponization of the banking sector. The allegation is that financial institutions are acting as ideological gatekeepers, cutting off access to capital for those who don't align with certain political views. J.P. Morgan Chase has been quick to respond, and they are firmly denying these accusations. In a
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये हित तो है इसकी खास बात वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है अरे मेरे राजा सबका राजा आर्थिक मसाला
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध, MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा.
In a major escalation between the White House and Wall Street, President Donald Trump has filed a massive lawsuit against one of the world's most powerful financial institutions. The president is suing J.P. Morgan Chase and its CEO, Jamie Dimon, seeking at least $5 billion in damages.
No, I haven't gone. No, he debanked to me. So we'll see if that beeps anything, but I think it should. You shouldn't be debanking. Get debanked if you don't have money or if you fall to have this great company, and all of a sudden I was told, no, you can't do that. It's so wrong. It's so wrong. I don't know what their excuse would be. Maybe their excuse would be the regulators. I don't know. But regardless, I guess it's a good lawsuit because every pundit has come out and said Trump has a great lawsuit here. You're not allowed to do what they did. Jamie Dimon, what he did, he's not allowed to do that.
The lawsuit, filed on Thursday, January 22nd in Miami-Dade County State Court, centers on a controversial practice known as de-banking. The president alleges that the bank has systematically denied services to him and his associated businesses, not because of financial risk, but due to political bias. This isn't just a dispute over a checking account. This is a high-stakes legal battle that accuses the largest bank in the United States of trade libel, bad faith, and violating state consumer protection laws. The core of the complaint is that J.P. Morgan Chase violated Florida's deceptive trade practices law. The legal team for the president
Very good morning, viewers. Thank you so much for continuing to stay with us. Republic Media Network presents the R4 Sports Conclave, a premier national platform bringing together India's finest athletes, sports leaders and policy makers, from Olympic champions and elite performers to institutional voices shaping the future of Indian sport, the R4 Sport Conclave will go beyond the medals to examine the systems, the mindset and leadership driving India's sporting rise. This is about mindset, infrastructure, accountability and winning the right way. So join us today live from the Republic Media Network headquarters in Noida as we bring you powerful stories, bold conversations and inside look at what it truly takes to build champions for India. Well, this is the R4 Sports Conclave, shaping the future of Indian sport. And viewers, let's take a look at the headlines at this hour. Minister Manohar Lal Pant's son booked after Fortuner mows down bikes in UP's Lalitpur. Mamata's shocking comment on Beldanga violence. She says 30% community can block roads, shut companies. 50 students hospitalized after stomachache and vomiting after they were given medicines in government school in Karnataka's Shivamoga. Lalu family feud deepens as Rohini Acharya hits out at brother Tejasvi Yadav yet again. And Arijit Singh announces retirement from playback singing. Alright viewers, let's get you some international news. Palestinians in the war-battered Gaza expressed worries about whether their lives would improve after Israel brought home the remains of the last hostage in Gaza on Monday. Well, Israeli authorities have said that there are no remaining captives left in Gaza after they received the remains of police officer Ran Givli, fulfilling a key component of a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. Now, displaced Palestinians shared that cold temperatures and the limited flow of goods into Gaza continue to hinder their welfare and wondered when the Rafah crossing would remain open. Let's take a deeper look into the sufferings of Palestinians.
The Israeli military recovered the remains of Ran Givli, the last Israeli captive in the Gaza Strip. However, it seems that there is no Palestinian sufferings. Surviving the extreme cold weather and the limited flow of goods into Gaza, Palestinians wondered when the Rafah crossing would reopen.
المفروض انه يفتح المعبر لانه لقى الجندي الاخير. ليش لهالحين مسكر المعبر؟ عندنا هنا مرضى كثير وحياه يعني لازم المعبر هذا لازم الناس تروح وتيجي على اساس انها تتعالج، اللي بده يطلع يتعالج، اللي بده يرجع، اللي بده شيء، يعني لازم تكون الامور افضل من هيك، بكفي.
One of the displaced from Rafah added that all this time we just saw empty promises.
هم كانوا يوعدوا ويقولوا بعد ما تخلص آخر جثة وناخذها إن شاء الله حيصير انفراجة، بس إحنا بنتوقع إنه الانفراج هذا مش حصير، لأنه اليهود بعدتهم المماطلة، بعدتهم الكذب، فنتمنى من الله إنهم يبقوا صادقين.
The remains of police officer Ran Givli were found in a cemetery in northern Gaza. The return of Gavili's remains marks what should be the completion of the first phase of US President Donald Trump's 20-point ceasefire plan.
بعد ما لقوا جثة الجندي الأخير الأسير نتمنى إنه الأمور تكون أفضل مما كانت عليه، وإن شاء الله رب العالمين تكون هناك انفراجة كاملة في فتح المعابر، فتح معبر رفح، المعابر التجارية كلها، وهذا يؤدي إلى إنه النازحين يعودوا إلى أماكنهم وإلى مناطقهم إن شاء الله رب العالمين.
Palestinians in Gaza are hoping that opening the Rafah crossing will allow travel to and from the enclave along with the evacuation of people needing medical care.
كل اللي بدنا إياه إحنا بدنا نعيش زينا زي دول العالم الثانية. أولادنا يعيشوا بأمان. الخيم هدول على الفاضي. بدنا بيوتنا، بدنا الإعمار، بدنا فتح معبر رفح، بدنا حياتنا ترجع كحياة كريمة، بدنا الأطفال يعيشوا يتعلموا. فيش عندنا تعليم صفر، الأمان فيشي. الطفل بيعيش تصحى في الليل 30 مرة عشان تغطيه. الأطفال عندنا بتموت من البرد. نتفة منخفض بتغرق غزة. حياتنا ضال، حياتنا يعني دمار. إحنا حياتنا دمار.
Displaced families sheltering in tents in Khan Yunis stated in despair that their situation needs to improve.
حياتنا كلها صعبة صارت، وبدنا خيم، بدنا شوادر، جيبوا لنا أي حاجة، خيم قبة تحمينا تحمي أولادنا، حرام اللي بيصير هذا فينا، وليش حماس بطلوا اليهود بماكروا يتفقوا يخلصونا من هالعقد ولا شيء، بدنا نروح لبلادنا وديارنا، أما هيك والله حرام ظلم.
The war in Gaza was triggered by the October 2023 attack on Israel that killed about 1,200 people and saw 251 taken hostage. For months, the Israeli government had cited the remaining bodies of the captives as a reason for limiting crossings into Gaza, delaying aid deliveries to Palestinians and slowing the implementation of the agreed upon ceasefire. With this justification now gone, what will change for Palestinians in Gaza?
And on to the other big story that we are tracking. The mother of all deals has been delivered by India and the European Union. Well, negotiations on the India-EU trade deal began in 2024 and have now wrapped up with the signing of this accord. Now, India and the EU together represent about a quarter of the world's GDP, and this agreement is anticipated to significantly impact exports, jobs, supply chains, and industrial competition. Well, India's textiles and apparel exports are primarily directed to the United States, with the European Union serving as the second largest destination. The FTA addresses current global challenges as well as facilitates a deeper market integration between the fourth and the second largest economies in the world. R.N. Bhaskar explains Europe's need. Take a look.
Noises coming from the government are that this is a fantastic deal for India. Now, I have only two problems with this deal. One, if it is such a wonderful deal, why doesn't it come into effect right away? Why wait 1 year? India's need for exports is now, not 1 year later. That's one problem. There's a second problem. They want to talk to a duty-free. They have not talked about non-tariff barriers. In the past, whenever we could export, there have been some conditions or the other that have always been imposed, whether it's pesticides and agro exports, or it is, I'll give you a classic example. In the 90s, 90s is a long time away, but it's a good example. In the 90s, Italy started a canard about India that India's leather was treated with chemicals that were carcinogenic. And that, in effect, blocked all the leather exports to Europe. What Italy started doing is started importing leather uppers from India, put the soles and said made in Italy, and sold it to the markets there. At that time, there was no carcinogenic. Europe is full of bags of tricks. And I'm not sure whether non-tariff barriers will be there or not, because the trade deal does not talk about non-tariff barriers. So these are two issues that I'm a little concerned about. And I don't know whether it's a fair deal or not. You'll know whether it's a fair deal or not only when our exported goods are accepted in EU. That's 1 year away. There is another aspect that I'm a little annoyed about, even worried. The EU is signing a deal with India when the EU is on its knees. UK is financially bankrupt and is being bailed out by the US. Germany, which used to be the engine of growth in Europe, in the last 1 year has seen more than 2,000 units closing down. Why? Very simple. The entire German industrial machinery worked on low-cost fuel from Russia. Stupidly, on the advice of USA, it decided not to import fuel and energy from Russia. Now it has to pay high prices of fuel, and the entire industry has become uncompetitive. And if Germany falls, every other country in the vicinity, whether it's Poland or it's Finland or it's everyone else, they export to Germany. Their markets stop. So where does it have the money to import things from India? Consumer goods may be imported, but the rest of it, I don't know whether they have much money and bandwidth. 1 year later, the patient, instead of going to the hospital, will be in ICU. Which is what is worrying me again. Why is India chasing EU, which has a declining population and which has a declining income, and all the countries there, almost all the countries there, are in a critical state financially? Is it because of enough of white-skinned people? Why haven't they looked at Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand? These are countries with growing populations, with growing GDP, with growing per capita income. Why is it that we are a little squeamish about tying up with the South Asians? Is it because they're not fair skinned? I see some element of either myopia or racism in all our dealings on FTS, on the FTA front. I mean, these are some of my concerns. Maybe I'm wrong. But the fact that the deal is going to kick in only 1 year later, look, one of the biggest exports that we have is textiles. Till now, the advantage was always Sri Lanka and Bangladesh and less developed countries. They get a special preference for exports to EU. Hence, many Indian exporters open shop in Bangladesh to get benefit of these preferences. Ditto with Sri Lanka. But Sri Lanka is smart. Let me give you an example. One of the biggest exporting companies in the textile sector is a company called Brandix. Brandix is luxury female innerwear. They are a name to reckon with in Sri Lanka, and they export goods not only their own brand name but also to other brands. Last year, year before last, they bought a 2,000-acre plot in Visakhapatnam and a set up unit in Visakhapatnam to cater to not only export markets but to the domestic market. Export is just a figure. Those countries are coming to India, producing in India to cater to the domestic market, even while exporting to other countries. I haven't seen India taking such a stand, except in Bangladesh. Why haven't we gone into Indonesia and Malaysia and started manufacturing there? Why haven't we tied up with China and say, okay, you can't, your costs are going up. Let us do textile exports from Malaysia and Indonesia, where China is very active, and let's have a joint venture. Okay, we get half the profits, we make half the investments, but still we open up new markets. Why is that vision missing from the External Affairs Ministry? Why is the vision missing from the Commerce Ministry? Look, the EU has access to Indian markets, but the Indian markets are always open. Maybe there was a duty structure, the duty structure will be reduced. What India needs now is not imports. India needs exports. Our exports are growing, but imports are growing faster. Are we going to import more and more and increase the trade gap? One of the reasons why the rupee is getting weaker is because our trade gap is increasing. You have to work at strategies to reduce the trade gap, because the rupee must get stronger. Every time the rupee weakens, it increases inflation risks in India. It increases the cost of manufacturing in India, because Indian industry is import intensive. It's only after importing certain commodities that we are able to export. If your rupee becomes weaker, our imports become expensive, our cost of export becomes higher. Again, this is one structural problem with the way the Ministry of Commerce thinks. It has gone running up to New Zealand. On paper, the ministry says that there will be no export, there will be no import of dairy products. But there in the fine print, in the New Zealand documentation, is that we'll be exporting milk powder for infants, we'll be importing baby food, which means that you're hitting Amul spray, which is a big profit center of Amul. Are you destroying India's milk industry? This double talk is what I'm scared of. We are allowing them access to Indian markets. New Zealand is a classic case, which is going to hurt us badly. And please remember that milk is 5% of India's GDP, and that 5% is larger than rice and wheat put together, which means 5% of India's GDP gets impacted. 5% of the entire Indian farming community will lose their incomes, which in turn means poor rural demand, poor consumption, which means less offtake from Indian industry, which means that your economy is a little slow. Okay, first, the world is changing rapidly. The US is in decline. The EU is in decline, with the US and the EU separating because of Greenland. Both will decline faster. Canada has gone to China, not to India, even though India is a large market. Why? Because China has a focused area on what to import, and they're more credible in long-term commercial arrangements. As a result, Trump has threatened 100% tariffs on Canada. Canada's not worried. They'll just stop aluminum imports by USA from Canada. None of the industry will survive without aluminum. Power comes from Canada. They'll put up a duty. They've already put a duty on power, and that makes American manufacturing that much more expensive. That's one part. The second part is India saying that we're going to have access to defense technologies. What defense technologies? Give me one European country that has shared technology with India. They give you semi-knockdown kits, assemble them, they teach us how to screwdriver it, and they say, we share technology with India. The only country that has shared defense technology with India is Russia. To some extent, Israel, but Israel is a bad name today because of genocide, because of ethnic cleansing. Given these realities, why are you looking only at those markets? What defense technology are you going to take from there? Engineering goods in Germany have now become almost twice the price that they were earlier because of high energy costs, high labor costs. And the more Europe and America try to slow down immigration, the more expensive will their own labor become, and that in turn impacts the cost of goods and services. AI? China has more advanced AI than anyone in Europe. Europe has missed the AI bus completely.
And viewers, on to some other news. Japan is gearing up for its upcoming elections scheduled for 8th February. On Tuesday, the 12-day campaign period officially got underway, with the leaders from major political parties hitting the streets to address the voters. Well, the political climate remains sharply divided as questions loom over how the ruling party plans to retain power and secure its majority. Here's a quick look at the key developments so far.
As Japan gears up for its election due on Feb 8, campaigning officially kick-starting as of Tuesday, with leaders of major political parties hitting the streets. The election this time has come in earlier as Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi dissolved the lower house of parliament on Friday. The move is touted by many to be an attempt to capitalize on her popularity to help the governing party regain ground after major losses in recent years. But it will delay parliamentary approval for a budget that aims at boosting a struggling economy and addressing soaring prices. Takaichi, elected in October as Japan's first female leader, has been in office only 3 months, but she has seen strong approval ratings of about 70%.
絶対に逃げずに高市さんを支えていく。そしてなかなか自民党では進まなかった改革、中に入ってアクセル役になって日本の政治を前に進めていきます。
And Takechi's Liberal Democratic Party could still face some challenges in the aftermath of a series of scandals associating the party to corruption and the party's past ties to the Unification Church.
暮らしを最優先で、暮らしをど真ん中に考え、生活者ファーストのその理念のもとに政策を訴える我々中道にご支援をいただけるか、これが問われていると私は思います。
民主主義をないがしろにする自民、維新、政権、高市首相に厳しい審判下していこうではありませんか。
But what's not clear if the new opposition centrist reform alliance can attract moderate voters, while opposition parties are still too splintered to pose a serious threat to the LDP. All of this apart, Takechi is also seeing rising animosity with China since making remarks on Taiwan.
さっき言ってたそういう国防の面だとやっぱりそういう台湾有事とかのことについて存立危機代とか、話でちょっといろいろ国内を二分するような話もありましたけど、やっぱ僕はその面ではやはり発言は別に悪くはなかったのかなと思ってる。
Especially as US President Donald Trump wants her to spend more on weapons as Washington and Beijing pursue military superiority in the region.
別にそういう戦争をするとかそういうやっぱ平和には収めたいんですけど、やっぱりなんか日本が従属するような形のやっぱ政治であったり外交っていうのは僕はなんか、好きではないというかに好まないんで、やっぱり日本が自立してなんていうんだろう、主導権を握るというか強い日本、をやっぱり体現してくれる存在ではあるかなと僕は思ってるので、そこら辺を僕は評価してます。
All eyes now await the consequence of the dissolution of the 465-member lower house of representatives, as we await to witness how the 12-day campaign period that officially started on Tuesday pans out.
Time to take a short break. Coming up ahead, the big story from West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee's shocking comment on Bildanga violence. She says 30% community can block roads and shut companies. That big story, viewers, and much more coming up after a short commercial break.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
Amity University has been ranked India's #1 university for business and economics and the #1 private university for computer science by Times Higher Education Subject Rankings 2026, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked standards in education.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
In a major escalation between the White House and Wall Street, President Donald Trump has filed a massive lawsuit against one of the world's most powerful financial institutions. The president is suing J.P. Morgan Chase and its CEO, Jamie Dimon, seeking at least $5 billion in damages.
No, I haven't gone. No, he debanked to me. So we'll see if that beeps anything, but I think it should. You shouldn't be debanking. Get debanked if you don't have money or if you fall to have this great company, and all of a sudden I was told, no, you can't do that. It's so wrong. It's so wrong. I don't know what their excuse would be. Maybe their excuse would be the regulators. I don't know. But regardless, I guess it's a good lawsuit because every pundit has come out and said Trump has a great lawsuit here. You're not allowed to do what they did. Jamie Dimon, what he did, he's not allowed to do that.
The lawsuit, filed on Thursday, January 22nd in Miami-Dade County State Court, centers on a controversial practice known as debanking. The president alleges that the bank has systematically denied services to him and his associated businesses, not because of financial risk, but due to political bias. This isn't just a dispute over a checking account. This is a high-stakes legal battle that accuses the largest bank in the United States of trade libel, bad faith, and violating state consumer protection laws. The core of the complaint is that J.P. Morgan Chase violated Florida's deceptive trade practices law. The legal team for the president argues that Florida law explicitly prohibits financial institutions from terminating accounts or denying
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा। इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी, एवरीडे।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल। ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े। क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
In a major escalation between the White House and Wall Street, President Donald Trump has filed a massive lawsuit against one of the world's most powerful financial institutions. The president is suing J.P. Morgan Chase and its CEO, Jamie Dimon, seeking at least $5 billion in damages.
No, I haven't gone. No, he debanked to me. So we'll see if that beats anything, but I think it should. You shouldn't be debanking. Get debanked if you don't have money or if you fall to have this great company, and all of a sudden I was told, no, you can't do that. It's so wrong. It's so wrong. I don't know what their excuse would be. Maybe their excuse would be the regulators. I don't know. But regardless, I guess it's a good lawsuit because every pundit has come out and said Trump has a great lawsuit here. You're not allowed to do what they did. Jamie Dimon, what he did, he's not allowed to do that.
The lawsuit, filed on Thursday, January 22nd in Miami-Dade County State Court, centers on a controversial practice known as debanking. The president alleges that the bank has systematically denied services to him and his associated businesses, not because of financial risk, but due to political bias. This isn't just a dispute over a checking account. This is a high-stakes legal battle that accuses the largest bank in the United States of trade libel, bad faith, and violating state consumer protection laws. The core of the complaint is that J.P. Morgan Chase violated Florida's deceptive trade practices law. The legal team for the president argues that Florida law explicitly prohibits financial institutions from terminating accounts or denying services based on a person's political opinions, speech, or affiliations. According to the complaint reviewed by Bloomberg, Trump's lawyers state that, quote, debanking is a matter of public interest and significant importance to all consumers and businesses in the United States of America. They argue that J.P. Morgan Chase, given its history and size, is a central actor in what they call a troubling saga. This lawsuit frames this not just as a personal grievance, but as part of a broader campaign against the weaponization of the banking sector. The allegation is that financial institutions are acting as
from Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Good morning, viewers. You're watching Republic TV with me, Hina Sharma. Now, Republic Media Network presents the R4 Sports Conclave, a premier national platform bringing together India's finest athletes, sports leaders and policymakers. Now, from Olympics champions and elite performers to institutional voices shaping the future of Indian sport, the R4 Sports Conclave will go beyond medals to examine the systems, mindset and leadership driving India's sporting rise. Now, this is about mindset, infrastructure, accountability and winning the right way. Join us on 28th of January 2026 live from the Republic Media Network headquarters in Noida as we bring you powerful stories, bold conversations and an inside look at what it truly takes to build champions for India. This is the R4 Sports Conclave, shaping the future of Indian sports. Alright, let's take a look at the headlines at this hour. Minister Manohar Lal Pant's son booked after Fortuner mows down bikers in UP's Lalitpur. Mamta's shocking comment on Beldanga violence. She says 30% community can block roads, shut companies. 50 students hospitalized after stomach and vomiting after they were given medicines in government school in Karnataka's Shivamoga. Lalu family feud deepens as Rohini Acharya hits out at brother Tejasvi Yadav yet again. Arijit Singh announces retirement from playback singing. Alright, a big breaking news coming in at this hour from the state of Andhra Pradesh, where a government employee has accused Jansena MLA of sexual harassment. Now, Jansena party leader caught in scandal after government employee alleges harassment and physical abuse. Also, there are private chats and videos which are released all over social media. Now, the Jansena party leader, Rava Sridhar, is caught himself in a harassment scandal after a woman government employee released a video message accusing the MLA of harassment, intimidation and exploitation. According to the woman who claimed she is employed in the railway Kuduru area, the MLA allegedly contacted her through Facebook about 1.5 years ago and gradually developed a personal relationship with her. Now, in her video statement, the woman alleged that the legislator pressured her, in fact, into maintaining an extramarital relationship and threatened to ruin her life if she refused to comply. Now, she further claimed that he demanded nude video calls and repeatedly intimidated her by warning that she and her son would be left vulnerable. So, big breaking news coming in at this point in time where a government employee is accusing MLA of harassment. Now, there is a video message as well which has been released by the victim. The MLA is from the ruling alliance in Andhra Pradesh. Jansena MLA, Araya Sridhar, we are talking about.
అడగడానికి చేయడానికి అమ్మ నాన్న లేరు. అతను నాకు అష్యూరెన్స్ ఇస్తూనే వచ్చాడు, మ్యారేజ్ చేసుకుంటాను ఎక్సెట్రా అని చెప్పి. ఇలా వీళ్ళందరూ దూరం అయిపోయి నా గురించి ఎవ్వరూ అడగడానికి కూడా లేరు అని ఆయనకి ఒక క్లారిటీ వచ్చిన తర్వాత ఈ 1.5 year నాతో ఉండి నన్ను ఇష్టం వచ్చినట్టు సెక్షువల్లీ వాడుకొని లిటరల్లీ నన్ను కొట్టి బలవంతంగా చాలా అంటే చాలాసార్లు చేసి January 7, 2026 ఒక 20 days ముందు నేను నిన్ను పెళ్లి చేసుకోను, నువ్వేం చేసుకుంటావో చేసుకో, నీ ఇష్టం వచ్చింది చేసుకో, నీ దిక్కున్న చోటు చెప్పుకో, నీ గురించి ఎవడొస్తాడో నేను చూస్తాను, నేను మాట్లాడతాను అనేసి నాకు చెప్పడం జరిగిందండి. ఇట్స్ బీన్ 20 days. అతను నన్ను వదిలేసి ఈ 1.5 సంవత్సరం నేను నరకం చూశాను. అతని వల్ల చూడాల్సిన నరకం అంతా చూశాను. నాకు ఇప్పుడు న్యాయం కావాలని చెప్పేసి నేను కోరుకుంటున్నాను. దాని గురించి పోరాటం చేస్తున్నాను.
All right, I have my colleague Aishwarya live with us from Hyderabad. Thank you so much for joining in, Aishwarya. This is a very gruesome case that we are looking at, where a young government woman employee is accusing a sitting MLA from the ruling alliance. Now, what is exactly the action that has been taken so far? I think Pawan Kalyan has already spoken about setting up an inquiry, but what is the latest in this story?
Exactly, absolutely. These are some strong claims that a government employee is making against the sitting MLA, where she's alleging that he had allegedly exploited her, sexually abused her, as well as intimidated her and her. And when he learned that she's been living alone and estranged from her husband, he took advantage of this particular situation, and he threatened her that if she will not follow his leads or does not accept this particular relationship, he would do something to her son as well, and that even threatened against on her son and her, and that is why. She did not have any other option but to play along, is what she was trying to say. Even after that, when she refused and when she protested, he promised marriage, and that is when she saw some hope. And then, but even after 1.5 years, when he slowly distanced herself from her family, and then because she does not even have her parents, he took advantage of that situation as well. That is what the victim here is claiming. However, the MLA himself has also released a video saying that all these claims that this victim is making is false, and these are deep fake videos, because the women had also openly publicly put out some private WhatsApp chats as well as private video calls here, which shows and supports her claims. But here the MLA is saying that all these are fake deep videos that have been generated to defame him, to malignate him, and that is the reason these should be strongly condemned, and he will take legal procedures to actually fight against whatever the claims are. However, what we are yet to see is that these claims are pretty strong from a government employee, and a strict action should be taken, is what the women locals have also been claiming, because these are something sitting MLAs threatening and abusing and for almost 1.5 years in protection of marriage is something that is very unfortunate and very sad, is what and should be protested, and the victim should be protected, is what the locals have also been claiming.
All right. Thank you so much, Aishwarya, for getting us all of those details as we hear this case where MLA is denying the accusations, calling the video as AI, deepfake and all of that. But we have the woman alleging harassment and, in fact, narrating the entire timeline from the time when MLA got connected to her through social media and then coercing her to getting into extramarital relationship. All right. Now, in another news, a massive fire tragedy in Kolkata has left at least 8 people dead and over 20 feared missing. Now, the blaze ripped through warehouse complex in Nazirabad, Anandpur, exposing serious safety lapses and delayed response. As rescue and forensic operations continue, questions are now being raised over accountability and the absence of the Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee at the site. We have more in this report.
A massive fire broke out in storage units in Nazirabad, Anandpur, West Bengal. The blaze spread rapidly from a decorator's warehouse to a momo manufacturing unit fed by highly inflammable material. At least 8 people were killed in the fire. More than 20 workers are reportedly missing, many believed to have been inside the warehouse. The aftermath reveals charred remains and skeletal debris. Bodies recovered are badly burnt, with forensic teams called in for identification. Pressed on delayed response and accountability, the minister, Firhad Hakim, refused clear answers. The confrontation by Republic ended with the minister walking away.
দাদা একটা প্রশ্ন করব, একটাই প্রশ্ন, যে এতক্ষণ সময় কেন
লাগলো? আপনি তো রাজ্যের মন্ত্রী, আপনার তো দায়িত্ব নেওয়া দরকার ছিল। আপনার তো দায়িত্ব নেওয়া দরকার ছিল।
তোমারও তো নেওয়ার দরকার ছিল।
কিন্তু আপনার সময়টা এত দেরি হলো কেন? আপনি তো রাজ্যের মন্ত্রী।
আমি বাবু তোমাকে কি কৈফিয়ত দেব?
না, সেক্ষেত্রে মুখ্যমন্ত্রী মমতা বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায় বিভিন্ন জায়গায় যান, এখানে এতগুলো মানুষ বেঠকে প্রাণ হারালো, মমতা বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায় কেন পৌঁছলেন না? সেক্ষেত্রে দমকল মন্ত্রী সুজিত বসুর আসতেও 32 ঘন্টা সময় চলে গেল। দমকল মন্ত্রীর এত সময় লাগলো? দমকল মন্ত্রীরও প্রায় 32 ঘন্টা লেগে গেল সময়।
ঠিক আছে, আমি আর যাই।
না, আপনি তো রাজ্যের মন্ত্রী, সেক্ষেত্রে আপনারও তো দায় বর্তায়। এতগুলো নিরীহ মানুষ বেঠকে প্রাণ হারালো। দাদা, এইটুকু উত্তরটা দিয়ে যান যে সময়টা এত কেন লাগলো?
Firefighting continues for over 30 hours as searches for the missing go on. But the Chief Minister Mamta Banerjee has yet not visited the site, even as families wait for answers. A typical case of callous apathy from the Mamta Banerjee.
All right, another breaking news that we are getting at this hour. In global news, Trump threatens to cut US aid to Iraq if Nouri al-Maliki becomes Prime Minister again. Now, Donald Trump writing on social media, now I'm hearing that, he writes that I'm hearing that the great country of Iraq might make a very bad choice of reinstating Nouri al-Maliki as the Prime Minister of the country. He also writes that last time Maliki was in power, the country descended into poverty and total chaos. That should not be allowed to happen again. Because of his insane policies, Trump writes, and ideologies, that if elected, the United States of America will no longer help Iraq, and if we are not there to help, Iraq has zero chance of success, prosperity and freedom. Make Iraq great again is what Trump is writing on his social media. Now he's threatening Iraq that will not aid the country if Maliki is reinstated as the Prime Minister of the country. Now this is a big breaking news. Trump, who is already threatening all the other countries, European Union, India as well, with 50% tariff, is now threatening Iraq, saying that if Nouri al-Maliki becomes Prime Minister, if he's reinstated again, it will be a bad choice for Iraq, and Trump will then impose Iraq with no aid. All right. So we have another big breaking news, which is the major national airlines come together and unite, nudging the government to relax the new crew rest rules that came into force on 1st of November last year. Now, these airlines together fly 95% of passengers, content that the regulation is unsustainable in the long run, citing operational crisis faced by Indigo in December last year. As a consequence, here is more in this report.
On the heels of a major operational crisis, representatives from India's leading airlines, including Indigo, SpiceJet and others, met with the Secretary of Civil Aviation and senior government officials, as they collectively push for a permanent relaxation for the revised flight duty time limitation norms. This meeting was held earlier last week, as Indigo and the Ministry of Civil Aviation held a meeting following a record 22.20 crore fine levied on the airline. This over the penalty that was imposed after a 4-member inquiry committee determined that Indigo had failed to adequately plan for the new flight duty time limitation norms, leading to a massive operational chaos and over 2,500 flight cancellations in the December of 2025. And the irony to be noted, this crisis could have easily been averted had the FDTL norms not been imposed, as airlines are now restricted by the newly imposed norms. And airlines, which have a surplus in terms of pilot availability at work versus pilots required, are now in a circumstance of having to hire more to meet the new FTTL directives. What remains to be seen is if the Ministry of Civil Aviation now budges in response and how airlines navigate these new waters and avoid being a repetition of Indigo's operational meltdown in December.
Alright, another big breaking news coming in at this hour from Jammu and Kashmir. A powerful avalanche has struck the Sonmarg village area. No casualties or injuries have been reported so far. You can see the visuals on your screen. A massive avalanche swept through the Sarbal area of Sonmarg in Jammu and Kashmir's Ganderbal district Tuesday night. So this happened Tuesday night. Now you can see the snowstorm engulfing houses and vehicles throughout. The CCTV shows how grave the situation was. Despite the scale and impact of the incident, officials confirmed that there were no casualties in this snowstorm, and in fact there were no injuries also that have been reported, fortunately, so far. Now what the authorities are saying is that the avalanche hit the popular Sonmarg tourist area at 10:12 p.m. on Tuesday, sending a large amount of snow rushing down the mountains. So you can see in your visuals how the snow is rushing down the mountains towards nearby homes and hotels. CCTV footage recorded the moment. As you can see on your screens, the snowstorm moved forward and covered the buildings in its path. So snowstorm there in Jammu and Kashmir's Sonmarg area. CCTV shows the moment when the snowstorm hit the area. The snow was rushing down the mountains, engulfing entire region, as you can see on your screens, in Sonmarg in Jammu and Kashmir. All right, now in another news, panic and chaos erupted in Karnataka's Shivamogga district as more than 50 government school children rushed to hospital after suddenly falling sick inside their classroom. Here is what happened.
A normal school day turned into a medical emergency. In Naralihalli village of Bhadravati Taluk, more than 50 government school children suddenly complained of severe stomach pain and vomiting. The incident occurred at the government higher primary school where 53 students were rushed to the Bhadravati Taluk government hospital. According to sources, the children fell ill after consuming the midday meal provided at the school. Soon after lunch, teachers also distributed vitamin and iron tablets to the students. But within minutes, several children began complaining of stomach pain followed by vomiting. As the condition of the children worsened, teachers and parents rushed them to the hospital in panic. Doctors have confirmed that all children are stable and out of danger, and the situation is under control. Meanwhile, authorities are now probing whether the illness was caused by the midday meal or a reaction to the tablets given after lunch.
All right, big breaking news coming in at this point in time. LET commander reveals Hamas links. LET commander reveals Hamas link is what is the latest here. We have at this hour, Lashkar-e-Taiba commander reveals in a big expose linkages with Hamas militant group. All right, so this is the big breaking that we're getting at this point in time. We are still to get more details on this story, but as of now, what we are getting to know is that an LET commander reveals. All right, a big breaking news coming in at this point in time. The plane on which Ajit Pawar was on board has been crashed, has met with an accident. Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister, we are talking about Ajit Pawar's plane has been crashed. This is a big breaking news. Now, what we are getting to know as per reports is that accident took place during emergency landing. Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar was on the plane. It crashed. It met with an accident. We are still to get more details on this big breaking news that we're getting at this point in time. But so the plane crash landed. We are still to get more details as to what was the exact location where the plane actually crashed. But Ajit Pawar was on board on that plane is what we are getting to know. Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister's aircraft meets with accident. Plane crashed. It crash landed, in fact. So that was an emergency landing is what we are getting to know as per reports. But this is a big breaking news that we're getting. All right, so I have my colleague Alicia with me on phone line to get us more details. Alicia, this is a big news. Ajit Pawar was on the plane where it crash landed. What more can you tell us?
Well, it has been noted that Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar was on board the aircraft, and it's a major accident that has been reported is what we have been told by the police official, but we are still getting an official confirmation. Let's not rush on the speculation that is being made, but we can say that there is a crash land during the landing in Baramati. It is also a public meeting which is going to happen today in Baramati, where Ajit Pawar was to be in Baramati today. There are 4 public meetings is what we have been told in Baramati, and while landing, it is the accident which happened in Baramati. There are officials who are at present. They are at the location. They have been assessing the situation, but we will still wait for an official statement, whether it will come from the Deputy Chief Minister office or whether from the police official.
Alicia, was Ajit Pawar on the aircraft at the time when it crash landed?
Yes, it has been said that it is according to the reports that Ajit Pawar was on board the aircraft, but as I said, let's not speculate on anything. It's still, we are waiting for an official confirmation, because what I have been told that the Deputy Chief Minister office is also assessing all the situation, and they are with Ajit Pawar as well, and even after that only they are going to release some official statement. Of course, there are some questions that is being raised there, and people are also being concerned.
All right, so not to speculate there, it is unclear if Ajit Pawar was on the plane at the time it crash landed. We need to be very, very, very careful with this particular big breaking news. We do know that the aircraft belonged to Ajit Pawar. It met with an accident, but we are not sure, and we do not want to speculate if Ajit Pawar was on the plane. But Alicia, can you tell us how many people were there on board the aircraft? All right. We just lost the connection with my colleague Alicia. We'll try and connect with her again to get the latest on this. But the big breaking news at this point in time is that before the aircraft was preparing to land, it crashed in an emergency landing. But this aircraft belonged to Ajit Pawar is what we're getting to know. The plane crash landed during landing in Baramati is what we are getting to know. Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar's plane crash landed. Accident happening while emergency landing, but again it is unclear if Ajit Pawar was on the aircraft, and we do not still know if there were any sort of casualties or injuries in this particular incident. But this is a big breaking news at this point in time. Accident during emergency landing. Ajit Pawar's plane crash landed while it was preparing to land in Baramati. So a big breaking news. You can see the visuals. What Alicia, my reporter from ground, told me that there was a meeting which was due to take place in Varanasi. All right, so I have my colleague Niranjan with me on the phone line. Niranjan, thank you so much for joining. This is a big breaking news coming in. Ajit Pawar's plane crash. What more can you tell us in this story?
Okay, it's not really a crash, it's a crash landing. Let's be very clear, it is not a crash, it is a crash landing. So we are being extremely factual in our reporting right now. It is a crash landing that has happened in Baramati, and we're just staying with this bit of information, and we are only staying on the story. From the first pictures that we have, I'm just describing the pictures. We have the pictures as well with us right now. From the first pictures that are emerging, what we can see is that the plane has, you can see that this is perhaps. Happened, on the sidelines of the airport. It does not look like, what do we call an airstrip. It is not an airstrip. It appears to have crash landed on the sides, on the peripheral areas of the airport. It appears like a lot of debris as of this minute. Looks like debris, and there are firefighters. What we can see is that there are firefighters. We have been told that Ajit Pawar was inside the plane. Now we don't have a confirmation. These are initial reports. Now whatever we are reporting is as per initial reports that Ajit Pawar perhaps was in the plane. Now what we can tell you is that the crash, it appears from the impact of it, it's mostly the debris that remains, and which perhaps indicates that this was a high impact crash. Now this is what we can tell you. High impact crash, and I'm just looking at those pictures that are coming in. We have Alisha joining us with more details. Satya Prakash also joining us with more details. This has happened in Baramati. Baramati is the hometown, the home turf of Ajit Pawar. Now we don't know who the other passengers were. Now this is an extremely alarming development this Wednesday morning for all our viewers joining us on the broadcast. This is a report of a crash landing that has taken place in Baramati, and we are told that Ajit Pawar was in the plane that crash landed. And we have also been told, as of this minute, that firefighters are at the scene. They're trying to put out the flames, but it's not looking good because the wreckage, we can see that there is a lot of wreckage. And from the video that I have, which our colleagues have been able to send us from Baramati, a lot of firefighters, a lot of rescue personnel at the scene trying to douse the flames. There is a lot of panic. Now we can see that this is a crash landing that has happened not on the sidelines of the airstrip, but perhaps on somewhere close to the airport. Now we don't know the exact location, but the crash landing itself is in Baramati. So these are the details we're picking up. I don't know whether Alisha is joining us live. We'll go across to Abhishek, Alisha, and also Satya Prakash, because we have to, get more details. And these are the details we have. I hope the pictures are full frame on our screen right now. These are live pictures coming in from Baramati in Maharashtra. This is the home turf of Ajit Pawar. Ajit Pawar, we are told, was inside the plane that landed, and the plane that crash landed rather. And he was inside this plane with other people. We don't know who these people were. So these are the details that I have. I'm handing it back to you for now.
It's a very, very big breaking news that we are getting right now at this moment. And as we can see, the visuals, it definitely doesn't seem like a landing strip, doesn't seem like a tarmac. It crashed en route, the Baramati. And these are the latest visuals that we are getting. And as per the latest updates, we are being told that Deputy CM was inside the plane. He was en route to Baramati. And these visuals, these are very horrific visuals. As you can see, there's smoke everywhere, there's fire everywhere. We are just waiting for official confirmation. We hope everybody is safe and sound who was traveling in this plane, but the visuals speak the visuals, as per the visuals, as you can see, the latest visuals as you can see on your television screen. We are showing you updated visuals. The police is there, the rescue operation teams are there, the local people who have gathered around that location, and the debris has scattered all over the place. The latest visuals, the visuals are very frightening. The ambulances are on the way, as I can see right now at this moment, and this seems like a deadly crash, and everything is scattered, all right, so we have Alisha on the phone line. Alisha, the visuals are very horrific, and it shows a smoke coming out and the flame there. The fire department teams are coming to the location. The police department is there. Ambulances rushing. What are the other details that you're getting? Any confirmation on what actually has happened?
Well, from the police sources that I have been speaking to the police officials, where they have been saying that an accident that is involving the aircraft of Ajit Pawar has been reported in Baramati, and this incident happened during landing. And some people on board, there were around 6 people on board, and on board the aircraft have sustained injuries. However, we are getting the official confirmation regarding Ajit Pawar's condition which is still awaited, and the administration and the security agencies have reached the spot and are assessing the situation. So as of now, we are trying to get the information about the Ajit Pawar situation as well.
To wait for any confirmation, because this is a very big news that we are getting right now. It's a very developing story at the initial stage. The latest inputs that we are getting, ladies and gentlemen, it's that the accident occurred during landing of Deputy CM's plane. It was during the landing that this accident occurred. Now the initial footage, as per now, it shows disintegrated plane debris. So the debris is all around that location. A lot of people have gathered. The locals are there. The police team is there. I can even see the ambulances rushing to the spot, and we hope there's no toll and we don't get any reports of any casualties and we don't have any confirmation as of now who else was traveling with Ajit Pawar. Also, we have our senior executive editor Abhishek with us. Abhishek, the visuals are very horrific and it seems like it has been a deadly plane crash, but we have to wait for confirmation on the safety of those who were en route to Baramati. Abhishek, over to you. All right. We'll try to reconnect with Abhishek on the phone line, but these are the latest visuals that we are getting right now. At this moment, the police officials are there, the rescue teams are there, and right now the visuals, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the debris is scattered all over the place. The bits of papers are there, and the plane parts are disintegrated, and it's everywhere. The locals have rushed to the spot, and they are trying to douse the flame. And all right, we have our senior executive editor Abhishek joining us on a phone line. Abhishek, these are horrific visuals. These are frightening visuals. We hope there is no casualty. But what can you read from the visuals that you see on the screen, Abhishek? Abhishek, if you can describe the visuals that you see on the screen, it seems like a horrific, frightening plane accident. It crash-landed while trying to land at Baramati airport.
Well, yes, the pictures are horrific, and we are yet to hear officially from the administration as to about the fate of those on board, which included the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Ajit Pawar. And this has happened when the plane was landing. If you look at the pictures, it's clearly a case of crash landing of the kind. It actually amounts to a complete crash, and those visuals do not show signs that any part of the plane would have, survived and kept the occupants safe. But as I said, we have to still wait for the exact status of those on board. The 6 of them were there, including the Deputy Chief Minister. The administration has reached there, sanitized the site, and those evac operations are continuing, rescue and evacuation. I think we will hear about the fate of those on board in just about some time. But this has happened early in the morning. Maharashtra Chief Minister was returning back to Deputy Chief Minister, I beg your pardon, was returning back to Baramati, the Pawar pocket borough, the Pawar hometown, and he would have done thousands of such landings. The fact that Baramati has had a strip. A landing strip for at least 35, 40 years gives you an idea of the kind of frequency with which that strip was used for landing of aircraft, specifically for the Pawars. And so it would have been a routine affair, but still, as things pan out, this seems like an ill-fated flight. And Shivam, we have to still go by official word on what exactly happened, how the crash happened, and what was the situation in which the flight was landing, which led to the crash, what was the status of the pilot and the co-pilot. I think everything would be looked into, and we will soon come back to our viewers with more details because the administration also is taking its time to really piece together the series of events which led to the crash.
definitely. These are very initial pictures, Abhishek, that the visuals that we are getting, and we can see the rear part of the aeroplane. That's the only part of the aeroplane that is remaining. It seems to be a small aircraft that has crash landed, and the visuals, the smoke is right now billowing out of the aircraft. Even now, the rescue officers are there, and at the location we can see fire officials also at the location. Locals have also gathered at the location trying to help the authorities, help the rescuers, and we hope there is no casualty, but these pictures are very horrific. The pictures are very frightening, and we pray that nobody has suffered because of this. We hope there is no casualty, but as the latest input that we are getting is that the NCP leader, Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar, was on the plane, and definitely he would be accompanied by his bodyguards who would be in that aircraft while the accident occurred. We clearly don't know the others who must be accompanying Ajit Pawar during his travel in that aircraft. Now the visuals from the site are showing the aircraft's wreckage right now at this moment. Now it has disintegrated. The plane has disintegrated after the crash landing, and that's strewn across the area. The flames and thick smoke that is billowing out from it. These are the latest pictures that we are getting. The visuals, optics that you are seeing on your television screen. The cause of the crash, the extent of the damage and condition of NCP chief are yet to be ascertained. All right, there's a big breaking news that is coming right now. I'll ask everybody to stay with me. But there's a big breaking news that is coming right now at this moment. The plane ran into trouble during its final approach. Big breaking news that is coming in right now. The plane ran into a crash. The Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar's plane crash landed. It was trying to land, and the exact cause is yet to be ascertained, but the plane ran into trouble during its final approach. That's the most riskier part during the takeoff and the landing, when the plane is the most vulnerable. And these are the pictures that describe this horrific accident. You can see the plane's wings on one side, the rear part of the plane on the other side, the middle part. Of big breaking news coming in. Maharashtra Deputy CM Ajit Pawar's plane crash lands. The plane has crash landed. It was about to approach the landing area, the tarmac. It was close to the airport, and that was the time it crash landed. Now, what was the exact reason of the crash? Was it a technical failure or something else? We are getting minute-to-minute updates on that now. The crash site indicates charred and scattered aircraft debris, as you can see on your television screen. Now, sources say accident occurred during attempted landing. Now, we are getting the preliminary information also. The plane ran into trouble during its final approach, and it crashed on the runway. So it crashed on the runway. That is what we are getting right now, as of now, this moment. So there should be a part of the aircraft, the airport, or some place nearby it, and this has crash landed. Ajit Pawar's plane ran into trouble during final landing approach, and the sources say the plane crashed on runway during final landing phase. The latest pictures, visuals on your television screen. We are getting more pictures.
Okay, we're staying on the live pictures, ladies and gentlemen. These are pictures coming in from Baramati at the site of the crash landing, and we have a confirmation that this was a plane that was carrying Ajit Pawar. What we don't know is the condition of Ajit Pawar. What we don't have details of is what is Ajit Pawar's condition right now. But I can tell you that these are pictures coming in, different sets of visuals coming in right now on your screens. So we'll put multiple screens, please. Multiple screens of the visuals that are coming in. And we are on these pictures right now. Those are pictures of the rescue workers, the first responders. And we are in fact waiting for an official word of the condition of Ajit Pawar. Police are on the site. And we'll stay on these pictures. Let's put out the different sets of pictures right now. What we are waiting for is the details of the condition of Ajit Pawar. And we are live right now from the spot in Baramati. Baramati is the hometown of Ajit Pawar right now. And we have a picture. Let's tell you what the police is telling us off record. There is a video that we have. I'm going to play out the video. This is the closest video that we have right now. So I'm going to play out that video. This is the video that came in of, the close-up. Let's play this video. Okay, there is another video that I have, and I'm going to put that video out right now. This video is the closest we have of the debris. You can see the debris very clearly, and you will see that there are some parts that are blurred. These are completely the plane is in pieces. The debris scattered all over this particular area, and these are the first pictures. In fact, there are in some parts the video is blurred because those are dismembered pieces of someone's body. Now we don't know how many people were on that plane. We are being told that seven people were on that plane that crash landed, and according to the police, we'll tell you on record what we know so far. According to the police, this accident involving the aircraft of Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Ajit Pawar, crash landed in Baramati. The crash landing took place outside of the airport, not in the airport. According to the police, some people have sustained injuries. Now, they're saying some are injured. Now, we don't have a confirmation of Ajit Pawar's condition. Now we are staying on these pictures. Let's play out the different videos, please. Different videos. Let's play out all the videos. Yes, this is the video. This is the video which shows you the impact. That's the tail of the plane. That's a wing. That's a wing that's completely, that's burnt out. Those are pieces of the plane scattered all over the site. So this appears to have been a devastating crash. Now we don't know the conditions of the people who are on board the plane. 6 or 7 of them were on board, we are told. What is the condition of all of them, we don't know. Security agencies are assessing the situation, and we are waiting for a confirmation on the condition of Ajit Pawar. Condition of Ajit Pawar, we don't know. We are being told that he was taken to the hospital. He was injured. There were 7 people in all. Now, we are getting more details. In fact, let me tell you more details. This was during a landing at Baramati airport. Initially, we were told that minor injuries were reported. This is a plane that was being used by Ajit Pawar. So who else was with Ajit Pawar, we don't know. There is some information coming in from the DGCA. The DGCA is sharing some information. DGCA sources saying that there were 6 people on board. DGCA sources saying that there were 6 people on board. And as we speak, Supriya Sule, Ajit Pawar's wife, are also en route Baramati. These are some live updates that we're picking up from Mumbai. It's a breaking story this morning, and we are non-stop on the pictures right now of the crash landing. And as of this minute, we're getting in a report, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting in a report that all on board reports, all on board, 3 people on board, 4 people on board have died in the crash. 4 people on board have died in the plane crash in Baramati. This is a report, initial report. 4 people have died. 4 people have died in the crash, ladies and gentlemen. We are staying on these pictures. This is a big update coming in. We're going to keep that information on the bottom of our screen. Reports confirm that Ajit Pawar has passed away in the Baramati crash. This is a breaking news report we're getting in. Ajit Pawar was on board. Ajit Pawar is no more. Ajit Pawar is no more. Ajit Pawar has also died in the crash in Baramati. This is a breaking news update, ladies and gentlemen. Tragic news this morning. Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister, and one of the senior most political figures in Maharashtra, Ajit Pawar, has passed away. Ajit Pawar has died in the plane crash in Baramati. From the initial reports that we have now, different statements now coming in, 4 people have died in the plane crash. 4 lives have been lost and 6 people on board have passed away. 6 people on board have passed away. We are told one of them, unfortunately, tragically this morning, all 6 lives, we are told as of now 4 lives have been lost. 4 lives lost. It was an LJ-45 type aircraft, VTSSK, Mumbai to Baramati. The plane was moving from Mumbai to Baramati, crashed on threshold of Baramati runway, burst into flames. There is no survivor. This is a big breaking news update, ladies and gentlemen. This is a tragic update that we're getting in, that Ajit Pawar has passed away. Ajit Pawar was on board and Ajit Pawar has also passed away in the crash in Baramati, Maharashtra. 6 people were on board as per the DGCA and 5 on board have died, including 3 passengers, 1 crew member, 1 pilot. 5 passengers have died. There were 6 on board. There were 6 on board and 1 has died. A pilot, a crew member and 3 passengers have died. And 1 reportedly is injured, critically injured and being treated right now. This is a breaking news update right now, ladies and gentlemen. It was a VTSSK LJ-45 type aircraft, Mumbai to Baramati, crashed on the threshold of Baramati runway and burst into flames. It was on the threshold of the runway. It was an emergency landing and the plane crash landed. Ajit Pawar is no more. This is the tragic news that we are breaking to you this morning from Baramati. We're going across to the pictures full frame. I'm going back to the pictures. Mr. UK Devnath is joining us on the phone line. Mr. Devnath, Wing Commander Devnath, I'm staying with these pictures, sir, but tragic news of Ajit Pawar's plane crash landing at the threshold of a runway. This is devastating news, sir. There were 5 people on board. 5 people on board have passed away. We are told there were 6 on board, and 5 of them have passed away.
Very, very unfortunate crash. In aviation industry, one hears very rarely of a VIP aircraft crashing like this because extreme precautions are taken and all kind of maintenance SOPs are followed before a VIP aircraft takes off. It appears that weather at that time in the region was okay. Whatever videos I have seen, visibility was not a problem. Any disturbance due to rainstorm was not a problem. We'll exactly come to know the reason after some times. Normally in this kind of a crash, when a VIP aircraft comes in for landing, all kind of precautionary measures are on ground. Best of the landing aids are switched on.
I have some breaking news right now. Ladies and gentlemen. We have some breaking news. We have a confirmation now. Ajit Pawar's plane has crashed after threshold crash landing. It was a hard landing and the plane crashed. And all of them on board have died. There are no survivors in the crash. Ajit Pawar has been killed in the crash with 5 others. I'll go across to Harsha. We are expecting the DGCA to release a statement shortly. 5 on board. 5 on board are dead in the crash. 5 on board killed in the crash, one of which is Ajit Pawar. There was also a crew member, a pilot. So 5 have died. These are pictures coming in. We'll just change the label there. That is the pictures of the crash site, not Ajit's plane. Ajit Pawar's plane has crash landed. Ajit Pawar's plane has crash landed. Those are pictures of the crash site. Ajit Pawar has been killed in the crash. I'm going across to my colleague Harsha joining us on the broadcast. She's getting in those details. And we have a confirmation now. Tragic news, ladies and gentlemen. Ajit Pawar is no more. and we'll a lot of responses coming in from Maharashtra. We'll get them on the phone line as well. Tragic news, one of the senior most leaders in Maharashtra, Ajit Pawar, was the Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister, was instrumental in getting the BJP to power, one of the key allies of the BJP. And Ajit Pawar is no more. He was killed in the crash this morning. I'm going back to Harsha. We'll go across to Alisha. We'll go across to Shavan. We'll go across to Abhishek. All our reporters live right now. And we are going to stay with our reporters live. These are pictures coming in. Different sets of pictures that we are getting you from the crash site. This is unfortunate. And these are the first pictures, ladies and gentlemen. We also have an official. Ajit Pawar is no more. Ajit Pawar is no more, and he was in that plane, and 5 lives have been lost. 5 people in that plane have died. This is the breaking news update, ladies and gentlemen, this morning. This is tragic news from Baramati, Maharashtra. The Deputy Chief Minister has passed away in the plane crash. The plane took off from Mumbai. The plane was heading to Baramati. Shavan is back on the phone line. I want to go across to him. Ajit Pawar is no more. Shavan, if you can give us more details of what we know so far of the circumstances that led to the crash landing.
In fact, Niranjan, we do have a confirmation now coming in from party insiders with regards to the condition of Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar, who was on a chartered flight on his way to Baramati this morning. A crash landed. This was immediately after the landing that took place. Now, we are not very sure in terms of the circumstances in which the landing has taken place. Some reports really coming in from the DGCA sources that it was a hard landing that essentially resulted in the jet basically landing at the surface.
I'll give you some top jacket, sing the top jacket, remove all this plane crash in Baramati and all that. Staying with those pictures, ladies and gentlemen. Just getting in some tragic news this morning. These are pictures of the plane crash in Baramati. Those are pictures from the crash site. Let's take the different sets of images that are coming in. One of the senior most leaders in Maharashtra, Ajit Pawar, leader of the NCP, has died in the plane crash in Baramati. We're getting in a breaking news update right now. The aircraft type, it was a Learjet 45. Operator was VSR. Aircraft registration VTSSK. Location where the crash took place is at the airport, at the Baramati airport. There were 5 people, including the crew on board, and all of them have died in the crash. All 5 on board, no survivors in the crash. No survivors in the crash in Baramati. This is a confirmation we're getting in right now. And I want to go across to Harsha as well. Harsha is also joining us live. There are no survivors in the plane crash. Harsha, this is an official report we now have. Take us through what we have so far, Harsha. What details do we have about the crash circumstances, Harsha?
It was the Niranjan, it was the Learjet 45 aircraft. It was the charter plane in which Ajit Pawar, along with one personal attendant, was and the one PSO was there in the aircraft. Almost there were 3 passengers, and also what has been reported is that there was 1 crew and 1 pilot. All 5 passengers have been declared dead as per the occurrence report, which has been shared by the regulatory body DGCA itself. It was a small plane and it was a threshold crash landing, as it has been told by the regulatory. Get more information, but he was immediately taken to the nearby hospital. According to regulatory body, all the 5 people who were in this jet plane have died. They are no more. They have been declared dead in this crash. The visuals which are getting, the smoke could be seen, the wreckage visuals of the jet could also be seen. It was a crash landing at the plane area only at the Baramati airport. The incident is reported of morning wee hours. We are trying to get more details from the regulatory body, but till now, what the official report from the DGCA has come, which clearly states that Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra is no more because there were 3 passengers, including Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Ajit Pawar. He had 2 attendants, 1 crew and 1 pilot. All have been declared dead. Back to you.
Okay, thank you for those details. In fact, these are the pictures coming in from the crash site on the left of your screen. That's the wreckage from the Baramati airport, from the threshold of the landing site, threshold of the airport in Baramati. Ajit Pawar's plane has crashed. He's no more. The DGCA confirms that there are no survivors on board. The DGCA confirms that the crash in Baramati has killed 5 passengers who were on board. All five on board in Baramati in the plane have been killed. The DGCA has confirmed that the crash took place at the threshold at the edge of the Baramati airport. These are details we're picking up. The crash took place this morning. Ajit Pawar, the Deputy Chief Minister, was on board along with 2 other personnel. He was accompanied by a PSO, he was accompanied by an attendant and 2 crew. His personal security officer was with him. The 2 crew members were also with him in that plane, including a pilot. 2 crew, including a pilot and a crew member, cabin crew. And Ajit Pawar was on that plane along with his PSO and an attendant. There are no survivors in the crash. And these are pictures coming in. We are staying non-stop with the pictures that are streaming in from Baramati in Maharashtra. Baramati in Maharashtra, this is Ajit Pawar's home turf. Ajit Pawar has died in the plane crash this morning. These are pictures coming in. Tragic news from Maharashtra. One of the senior most leaders, the Deputy Chief Minister, has passed away. And the crash, from the initial details that we picked up on the circumstances that led to the crash, the plane was trying to make an emergency landing and it crashed on the threshold of the airport. It was a hard landing. He tried to make an emergency landing at the Baramati airport, but the pilot failed to reach the airstrip and crashed just on the edge of the Baramati airport. The aircraft took off from Mumbai, and the aircraft was en route Baramati, which is the home turf of Ajit Pawar. There is another video that is coming in from the wreckage site. We're going to play that video out right now. Another video from the wreckage site. We're getting in back-to-back videos of the immediate aftermath of the crash. The immediate aftermath of the crash. You can see that the moment the crash was reported, thousands of people rushed to the airport. In fact, the plane is seen in flames. Plane is seen in flames, and this seems to be a video in the immediate aftermath of the crash. Immediate aftermath of the crash, and people are rushing towards the wreckage in this particular video, and you can see the charred remains. The charred remains of a few people. This is another video that came in, ladies and gentlemen. That's a disturbing video. And Ajit Pawar was on that plane. He was one of the 5 killed in the crash in Baramati. That is the new video that is emerged of the immediate aftermath of the crash. This is another video that just came into our newsrooms, and Ajit Pawar was on that plane. You can see that the viewer discretion is advised, because this is a video that shows. I'll move out of this video. We'll move out of this video. We'll treat the video and come back, because you can see the charred human remains in one of these videos. Ajit Pawar is no more, and at about 9:12, we are being told that around 9:12, about 38 minutes ago, about 38 to 40 minutes ago is when the ATC received the first call. ATC received the information of the crash. The plane took off at around 8:10. At around 8:10, the plane took off from Mumbai, and at around 9:12 is when the ATC received the information of the crash. 8:10, the plane took off. At about 9:12, we are told that the first information and the first call went out of the crash that took place in Baramati. So we are waiting for more details, ladies and gentlemen. 9:12 is when the call went out. So between 8:45 and 9 a.m. this morning is when the plane crash landed. Is when the plane crashed, and we're getting in some more details right now. We have details of who else was on the plane. We have that the operator was VSR Ventures. And this was a VT SSK, and the plane had a wingspan of 47 feet. From the details that we have picked up this morning, the plane was being piloted by Captain Sahil Madan. Captain Yash also on board. Mumbai to Baramati. Reported departure time was about 7 a.m. and expected time of arrival was 40 minutes later. But from the details we are being told that the plane may have taken off a little after 7 a.m. and the plane crashed near Baramati. More details coming in of the plane. This is another information that we've picked up right now. Another bit of information that Captain Sahil Madan was piloting the plane, was the pilot of the plane. Captain Yash also on board. Operator was VSR Ventures. Registration number LJ45VTSSK. Wingspan 47 feet. The crash reportedly took place at around 8:45 a.m. A plane reportedly took off at 8 a.m. Plane reportedly crashed at about 8:45. We're getting in reactions as well, ladies and gentlemen, to the story. This is a breaking news story here on Republic, and those are pictures of the crash site in Baramati in Maharashtra, where the plane carrying Ajit Pawar has crash landed, and Ajit Pawar was on the flight along with 5 others. Ajit Pawar had taken off from Mumbai. Let's split the screen, please. Let's split the screen and show the different pictures coming in, including the last pictures of Ajit Pawar. Rescue teams in the different videos that are coming in, seen rushing to the site and trying to douse the flames. That's the wing of the plane that is seen, the entire debris at the site. That's what it looked like the moment the crash took place in Baramati, Maharashtra. Ajit Pawar reportedly took off at about 8 a.m. The plane crashed a little after 8:45 a.m. and Ajit Pawar is no more. The Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister has passed away. And ladies and gentlemen, we have more details coming in of the plane that carried him. The plane that carried Ajit Pawar was being piloted by Captain Sahil Madan, Captain Yash in the pictures, and there are many reactions coming in. From Maharashtra. We'll also put the details of who was on board, but we'll wait for an official confirmation for that. From the information that we have right now, Ajit Pawar was in the plane with his personal security officer. He was accompanied. He was I'm going across to Captain Randhawa, who's an aviation expert, joining us. Tragic news this morning, Captain Randhawa, of Ajit Pawar being killed in the crash in Baramati, trying to land the plane, sir. This is devastating news. What we know is that this was a VT SSR. Let me just give you the details. This was a VT SSK plane that was trying to land. It crash landed at the threshold of the Baramati airport. That's all we have for now. But if you can, I'd like to get your views on what you're seeing here, sir, in the pictures in Baramati, Maharashtra.
Yeah, good morning. I've just come and I've been aware of this unfortunate accident which took place. This is a Learjet 45 aircraft belonging to VSR.
Sir, I'm going to interrupt you, sir. We're getting in, non-stop responses from the parliament, sir. I'm just going to get into some responses because we're getting on ANI right now. Arvind Sawant is a Shiv Sena Uddhav Thackeray faction MP from Maharashtra. There are non-stop reactions coming in on ANI. Can we please cut across to Arvind Sawant? Arvind Sawant is speaking. We'll just cut across in a PIP window so that we can also bring in at the same time all the responses that are coming in from across the country. These are the pictures from the parliament.
पे भी बहुत महासंकट है भी है, पार्टी में भी है। ऐसी स्थिति में उनके साथ में, उनके परिवार के साथ में श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करता हूँ।
Okay, so those are, that was a response that is coming in from Parliament. A tragic start. In fact, the Parliament was about to convene this morning at 11 o'clock, but we're getting in news of Ajit Pawar being killed in the crash. There are pictures, back-to-back pictures coming in of what really happened in Baramati. The plan was the plane was going to land at the threshold of the airport. Sir, anything else that you've been able to pick up, Captain Randhawa, on this particular incident, sir?
See, and the speculations, because that was there fire, because that has to be verified. Was there any fire on any of the engines? Okay, and it's a VFR airfield, as much I know, Baramati. So yeah, the visibility, I do not know what was the visibility at that time. And if it was landing, if it's a VFR airfield, then you require 5 kilometers. So in case the visibility was okay, because if he's crashed close to the threshold, then he's undershot. So why the aircraft crashed at the threshold? It is very intriguing. It seems from the crash side, it seems at the undershoot area. It's not the threshold. But what you people are showing and depicting is threshold. So I want to know, is it the threshold or it's in the undershoot?
सामाजिक क्षेत्र के लिए, राजनीतिक क्षेत्र के लिए बहुत ही दुखद घटना है। 6 लोग सवार थे और अजीत पवार जी भी उसमें सवार थे, ऐसी सूचना आ रही है। अगर ये सच है तो आज का दिन दुर्भाग्य का दिन है। इतनी बड़ी दुर्घटना शायद हम पिछले दशक में ऐसी दुर्घटना कभी हमको दिखने को नहीं मिला। ये दिल को दहला देने वाली दुर्घटना है। भगवान करे उन सभी लोगों के परिवारों को शक्ति दें। इतनी बड़ी घटना, जो लोग उसमें सवार थे, ये बहुत बड़ी दुर्घटना है। केवल महाराष्ट्र सरकार के वो डिप्टी सीएम नहीं थे, बल्कि देश के एक जाने माने राजनेता थे। आज उनकी भरपाई शायद मुश्किल।
These are non-stop reactions from Parliament. Those are live pictures. In fact, latest pictures coming in from the crash site. These are pictures from the crash site. Live pictures, in fact, ladies and gentlemen. Deferred live, not really live, but deferred live from the site of the crash. We're getting you the latest information, whatever we've been able to pick up officially from the ground so far. We are hearing that Ajit Pawar had a Zilla Parishad event scheduled in Baramati today. Ajit Pawar took the 7 a.m. flight from Mumbai for Zilla Parishad event. The flight duration was slated to be roughly about 40-45 minutes. Ajit Pawar was scheduled to return to Mumbai after the Zilla Parishad event. The plane itself may have taken off a little after 8 a.m. Took off around 8 a.m. was scheduled to take off at about 7 a.m. but took off a little after 8 a.m. And more pictures coming in fact, of the site, of rescuers, of the fire brigade, of the first responders at the site. Ajit Pawar was scheduled to return to Mumbai after the Zilla Parishad event. He had a Zilla Parishad event scheduled in Baramati, and that's why he took that early morning flight at 8 o'clock. We don't have the details of why the crash took place, why there was an attempted crash, emergency landing. But what I can tell you right now is that the plane was being operated by VSR Ventures Private Limited. It was the registration number of the plane was LJ45VTSSK. 9,752 kilogram, wingspan of about 47 feet. And it was being captained by Captain Sahil Madan, Captain Yash. We will also put out the details of the plane with a picture of the plane operated by VSR Ventures, LJ45VT SSK, 9,752 kilograms, wingspan of 47 feet, captained by Captain Sahil Madan, Captain Yash, the crew and the pilot on board. And he was accompanied by his PSO and one more assistant. These are the breaking news details we've picked up, ladies and gentlemen. It is a tragic story. In fact, more visuals are coming in. Let's go full frame to the pictures, please. Let's go full frame to the pictures right now. There are more pictures coming in of the immediate aftermath of the crash. The police having a tough time keeping people out of outside of the crash site. This is the crash site at the threshold of the airport. This was at the edge of the Baramati airport. The pilot tried to land the plane. It was a crash landing. We just have initial details of who was on the plane, where the plane took off from, what time the plane took off. What we don't know so far is and a lot of people there, you can see that people are breaking down in that video. There is an audio as well on the video. Let's take the audio, let's put the audio up. Just gives you a sense of, that's VSR. You see the operator VSR, the logo on the wing of the plane. VSR logo on the wing of the plane. And the moment they realize that there are no survivors, you see that people breaking down. Many of his supporters, Baramati is the hometown of Ajit Pawar. Heartbreaking pictures there from Baramati, ladies and gentlemen. Those who followed him, those who are from his constituency, people who followed Ajit Pawar, people who loved him at the edge of the Baramati airport. Thousands flocked to just see what had happened there this morning. That's the picture from Baramati as the police and rescue personnel have a tough time keeping the people outside the wreckage site. You can see that they're trying to gather the remains of those who are on board. 5 people killed in the crash. And you can see in one of those pictures that came in, VSR, the operator, the logo on the emblazoned on the wing of that plane, 47 feet wingspan of this plane that took off from Mumbai this morning, a little after 8 a.m. And I'm getting in some more breaking news updates right now, non-stop breaking news updates. Ajit Pawar's wife and son, Ajit Pawar's wife and son Parth Pawar have left for Baramati. They are en route Baramati. And this is such a devastating story this morning. 5 people have been killed in the crash and Ajit Pawar, one of them. Ajit Pawar was on the plane. He was headed to attend a Zilla Parishad meeting. He was there to attend a Zilla Parishad meeting. And from whatever we have picked up right now, Ajit Pawar had a Zilla Parishad event scheduled in Baramati. He took a 7 a.m. flight. The flight was scheduled to take off at 7 a.m. Was headed for the Zilla Parishad event. Flight duration was about 40 minutes. Ajit Pawar was scheduled to return to Mumbai after the Zilla Parishad event. He took a 7 a.m. flight from Mumbai and was scheduled to return later today from Mumbai to Baramati. He had a day visit slotted to Baramati and the plane crashed in what is called a touchdown phase. And getting in breaking news right now, the Prime Minister has spoken to Devendra Fadnavis. Prime Minister Modi has just spoken to Devendra Fadnavis. And the Prime Minister has inquired about the crash. That's a breaking news update. Both Prime Minister Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah have spoken to Devendra Fadnavis, the Maharashtra Chief Minister, to inquire about the crash, to gather more details of the crash. This is a breaking news update that we have right now. This is, of course, one of the turning points perhaps in Indian politics when one of the senior most leaders, a party that has backed the BJP in Maharashtra, Ajit Pawar is a very popular leader, has mass support in many parts of Maharashtra, Deputy Chief Minister, one of the sharpest politicians of our times, Ajit Pawar, has passed away in a plane crash in Baramati. Baramati is the stronghold of Ajit Pawar. He was killed in the plane crash as the plane tried to land at the Baramati airport. Prime Minister Modi has spoken to the Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis. This is a breaking news update coming in, and Ajit Pawar is no more. In fact, from Parliament there is everyone in a state of shock. DMK MP Tiruchi Siva speaking in Parliament. Many of them just learning about the crash and the
politician is very sorry.
Many of them waiting for the official word. In fact, there is no official word. What we know is that the DGCA, that's the only official word we've had. The DGCA has gone on record to say that there were 5 people on board that plane and all 5 have been killed in the crash. And they included Ajit Pawar, they included his personal security officer, they included his assistant, it included a pilot, and it included a crew member. And as we speak, Ajit Pawar's son and wife have left for Baramati from Mumbai. Those are pictures of him. Look at that. Those are pictures of Ajit Pawar, file pictures. Has been a critical player in Maharashtra politics for many years. And Ajit Pawar's death this morning, the news of his being killed in the crash comes as a huge setback, not just for his party, but for Maharashtra politics. Was popular in many parts of Maharashtra. And ladies and gentlemen, we have more details of the plane that is now coming in. It was a Learjet 45, a mid-sized business jet aircraft, which is produced by Canadian company Bombardier Aerospace. It was a Bombardier plane, had a seating capacity of about 8 passengers, 2 engines, 2 Honeywell engines on that plane, operated by VSR Ventures, registration number LJ45 VTSSK, wingspan of about 47 feet, was piloted by Captain Sahil Madan and Captain Yash. We're getting in more pictures of the GMC hospital. We're standing by for those pictures. This is the hospital where the bodies were taken, where those injured were taken. In fact, in these pictures, you can see in one of the first videos that came in, most of them were killed on impact. This is devastating news. The Prime Minister has spoken to the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis. There are pictures that is the GMC Government Medical College in Baramati, where the injured were taken. There was also a video that came in of the ambulance carrying the remains, the mortal remains. Let's keep changing those pictures. People running inside the GMC. That's the GMC in Baramati. This is the Government Medical College in Baramati. We're getting in these pictures from different locations in Baramati. That's the crash site. Those are the first pictures that came in. And as we look at those pictures, there were no survivors. The charred remains were taken in an ambulance to the GMC. Those are pictures, the situation outside the Government Medical College. That is where the mortal remains of Ajit Pawar are being kept right now in Baramati. Ajit Pawar's wife and son Parth Pawar have left for Baramati from Mumbai. Supriya Sule has also left for Baramati. She was in New Delhi for the start of the Parliament session this morning, and she is on her way to Baramati in Maharashtra. Ajit Pawar has been killed in the plane crash, ladies and gentlemen. as we stay with those pictures, we're getting non-stop reactions. In fact, back-to-back responses. TKS Elangovan of the DMK, opposition leaders reacting, opposition and government and NDA and opposition leaders across the political spectrum, pouring in condolences, remembering Ajit Pawar. Let's cut across to the different reactions now coming in on different sources right now, on news agency ANI. Those are pictures of Baramati, and we're getting in the details. This was a plane operated by VSR Ventures, LJ45 ETSSK, 9,752 kilogram plane with a wingspan of about 47 feet. And those are the pictures of what remained at the crash site in Baramati. Let's play the different reactions coming in, ladies and gentlemen.
सर खबर आ रही है कि
बहुत दुखी हूँ।
प्लेन कैजुअल्टी तो सर खबर आ रही है कि
बहुत दुखी हूँ। ठीक हूँ। एक राजनीतिक नेता सही बोलो तो आदरणीय उद्धव जी बाला साहब ठाकरे जी राज्य के मुख्यमंत्री पहचान तो पुरानी थी, मैं भी विधायक था, लेकिन जब वो उद्धव जी ठाकरे साहब की सरकार में आए और सरकार में अर्थ मंत्री थे तो नजदीक आना हुआ, मिलते रहे। एक दिलदार पारदर्शी इंसान, राजनीतिक नेता भी, जबान दी मतलब दी, फिर पीछे नहीं आया, ऐसा उनका स्वभाव था। काम के बारे में अगर कुछ कहूँ तो अगर उन्होंने हाँ कह दिया तो समझ लेना, चिंता ही नहीं करना कहीं दौड़ने की बात। ना कहा तो ये नहीं था कि राजनीतिक ना नहीं कहते कभी, राजनीतिक ना नहीं, तकनीकी होगा या कुछ मामला होगा या कुछ भी तकलीफ होगी तो बोलेंगे ये थोड़ा आसान नहीं है, लेकिन ऐसा इंसान नहीं है। राजनीति में बहुत सारे उन्होंने कदम उठाए, पवार परिवार के ऊपर भी पहाड़ गिरा। मैं व्यक्ति से व्यक्ति हूँ क्योंकि जो कुछ संबंध निर्माण हुए आज भी वो वहाँ थे, लेकिन बात करते थे, कार्यक्रम में मिलते तो दिलदार से बात करते, कभी बात करने में हिचकिचाहट नहीं थी, में कोई ऐसे अड़कन ही नहीं थी। अब ऐसे इंसान जब राजनीति में खो जाते हैं तो बहुत बड़ा होता है। और जो कुछ उना में खास करके उनके क्षेत्र में प्रगति दिखती है उसमें उनका बड़ा योगदान है। आदरणीय शरद पवार साहब ऐसे व्यक्ति को बुरा लगता है, हमारी जहाज उड़ गया उतरते समय मिलता है, पता नहीं चार्ज तो होगी लेकिन क्या हमारा इंसान को मार।
In fact, more breaking details coming in, ladies and gentlemen, as we speak right now. The DGCA assessment on what led to the crash is now underway. We're getting in more details right now. Back-to-back breaking news updates. The latest update we have is the assessment of the flight crash is underway. We're expecting an official word from the DGCA. The DGCA has only so far confirmed the circumstances that led to the crash. Operated a plane that was operated by VSR aircraft type Learjet 45, aircraft registration VTSSK, location Baramati Airport. There were 5 people including the crew on board, and we're expecting an official word soon. 5 people were on board. The plane crash landed at Baramati. More response. In fact, we have the first responders in Baramati speaking. Let's cut across live. First responders in Baramati. Live feed coming in. Live feed.
नीचे आया था, ऐसा लग रहा था उसका क्रैश हो जाएगा ऐसा हम सोच रहे थे, तभी क्रैश हो गया।
हम देखे कि हमें लगा नहीं क्रैश हो गया है, लेकिन एयर ट्रैप पे उतरेगा ऐसा लगा, उतर रहा है, लेकिन क्रैप हुआ और उसके बाद स्फोट हो गया उसका ज़बरदस्त। स्फोट होने के बाद वो हम देखने आए, पहले देखा तो उसको आग लगी थी पूरे प्लेन को, और उसके बाद 4-5 स्फोट हो गया विमान में उसका, और उसके बाद बहुत लोग आ गए और उसने निकालने की कोशिश की, लेकिन बड़ी आग लगी, उसके कारण कोई मदद नहीं कर सकता, लेकिन सब आ गए। तब बाद में उसको उसमें आजिदा था, ये हमारे लिए बहुत शौक की बात में है, ये हमें बता नहीं सकते हम बात में ऐसा, लेकिन हमने देखा है कि पायलट ने भी ट्राई किया होगा कि लैंडिंग करने का, लेकिन लैंडिंग हुआ नहीं है। ये बहुत शौक वाली घटना है। हमने देखा पूरा एक नीचे आ रहा था, ट्रैप पे आ रहा था, ट्रैप के नज़दीक 100 फुट से नज़दीक आके गिर गया है।
Ajit Pawar, the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, spoke to Republic TV just before the elections. Someone who kept all his options open as a politician, very open to everyone and every idea. In fact, he even told Republic that in politics, never say never. Ajit Pawar was headed to Baramati for a Zilla Parishad meeting this morning when the plane crashed at the threshold of the airport. Let's also tell you that as we speak, there are more visuals coming in from the Baramati hospital, the Baramati Government Medical College. This is a GMC in Baramati where the first pictures are coming in. Thousands of people have gathered there trying to get a glimpse of their leader. Baramati was a stronghold of the Pawar family. Baramati is a stronghold of Ajit Pawar, and he was headed there for a Zilla Parishad meeting. Someone who was very, very in touch with his party cadre at the grassroots level. Another picture that's coming in, a picture that's coming in of the first responders carrying the injured, carrying the bodies, carrying the mortal remains from the site. Very disturbing pictures. These are first videos, ladies and gentlemen, from the site, from the crash site in Baramati, Maharashtra. A state of shock there as you see the first responders run to attend to those who are inside that plane. That's the ambulance, the mortal remains. In fact, many of them died on impact of the crash in Baramati. All the fatalities were on the impact of the crash. And those are pictures coming in. I'm staying with the pictures. The plane crashed while attempting a landing at the edge of the Baramati airport, what is called the threshold of the Baramati airport. Now, why was the pilot trying to make an emergency landing? We don't have the details of that. But what we know is that the mortal remains were taken to the GMC, which is the Government Medical College in Baramati. Some of the updates that we have right now, Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde also headed to Baramati. Supriya Sule and Sunetra Pawar, the wife of Ajit Pawar, departed for Mumbai from Delhi at 11:30 a.m.
प्लेन को, और उसके बाद 4-5 स्फोट हो गया विमान में उसका, और उसके बाद बहुत लोग आ गए और उसने निकालने की कोशिश की, लेकिन बड़ी आग लगी, उसके कारण कोई मदद नहीं कर सकता, लेकिन सब आ गए। तब बाद में उसको उसमें आजिदा था, ये हमारे लिए बहुत शौक की बात में है, ये हमें बता नहीं सकते हम बात में ऐसा, लेकिन हमने देखा है कि पायलट ने भी ट्राई किया होगा कि लैंडिंग करने का, लेकिन लैंडिंग हुआ नहीं है। ये बहुत शौक वाली घटना है। हमने देखा पूरा एक नीचे आ रहा था, ट्रैप पे आ रहा था, ट्रैप के नज़दीक 100 फुट से नज़दीक आके गिर गया है।
क्या कहेंगे, ये हादसा हुआ आपने खुद देखा है?
आंखों से देखा है, बहुत दुख भरी, दर्द भरी घटना है। ये हमने देखा कि एयरप्लेन जब नीचे आया था, ऐसा लग रहा था उसका क्रैश हो जाएगा, ऐसा हम सोच रहे थे, तभी क्रैश हो गया। हम देखे कि हमें लगा नहीं क्रैश हो गया है।
घटना घडलेली आहे, महाराष्ट्राचे मुख्यमंत्री अजित पवार यांचं निधन झालेलं आहे, आपल्याला काय सांगायचं?
दादा गेले तर अजूनही
सब तिलक
Well, in fact, in a short while from now, Cabinet Minister Girish Mahajan would be joining us on this broadcast. Girish जी, सबसे पहले आपसे सवाल करना चाहूँगा कि बहुत बड़ा दुखद घटना है महाराष्ट्र में और एक ऐसे नेता, दिग्गज नेता, उप मुख्यमंत्री अजीत पवार का ना रहना ये बहुत बड़ी बात है। आपसे जानना चाहूँगा क्योंकि आपने बहुत क्लोजली उनके साथ काम किया। गिरीश जी, आपके पहली थॉट्स?
बहुत दुखद घटना, मतलब शब्दों में भी हम बयान नहीं कर सकते, बता नहीं सकते, इतनी बहुत बड़ी दर्दनाक दुखद घटना हुई है। दादा और मैं कल ही हम लोग कैबिनेट में थे, कल ही कैबिनेट के समय तो बहुत उन्होंने मेरी खींची भी थी थोड़ी, बहुत मेरे से हमेशा हम मजाक करते थे। कोई कैबिनेट ऐसी नहीं होती थी जब हम मिलते थे और मेरी उनकी कुछ बात नहीं होती थी या मेरे बारे में हम कुछ टिक्का टिप्पणी नहीं करते थे, मतलब मजाकी तौर पर। बहुत अच्छे संबंध मेरे उनके थे। एक हमारे कद्दावार नेता थे, 35 साल से दादा और मैं विधानसभा में साथ में थे। कभी 95 से कंटिन्यू 7 बार लगातार विधायक हूँ, मंत्री भी बना हूँ 3 बार, हम लोग साथ में ही थे। लेकिन एक दिलदार नेता, एक जाबाज नेता करके दादा की एक पहचान थी, एक स्पष्ट वक्ता करके दादा की पहचान थी। अभी भी मुझे ऐसे लगता है कि बस अभी कोई नींद में से उठाएगा और ये सपना है ऐसे लगेगा, तो ऐसे ही अभी भी लग रहा है कि भाई ये हो ही नहीं सकता ऐसा। अभी भी यकीन ही नहीं हो रहा है कि ऐसे कोई क्रैश हुआ प्लेन और दादा हमें नहीं है, दादा हमारे से मतलब उनसे चले गए, इस पर विश्वास ही नहीं हो रहा है। अभी भी लगता है एक सपना है, लेकिन अभी ये हकीकत है, ये हो चुका है। दादा हमें नहीं रहे, बहुत कम उम्र में, बहुत कम समय में दादा हमसे अलग हो गए, हमसे निकल गए, यहाँ से निकल गए, दुनिया से निकल गए। तो बहुत हमारे लिए दुख की बात है, बहुत दुख की बात है, मतलब हम शब्दों में बयान नहीं कर सकते हैं।
गिरीश जी, क्योंकि आप उनके साथ बहुत करीबी तौर से आपने काम किया है, कैबिनेट में आपके साथ, आप उनके साथ थे, आपसे जानना चाहूँगा कि आप कह रहे थे कि जिस तरह से हंसी मजाक करते हैं, क्योंकि अजीत पवार के एक ऐसा रूप है जो बहुत लोगों को नहीं पता कि किस तरह से वो एक लाइट तरह के, उनके सेंस ऑफ ह्यूमर जिसे कहा जाता है। गिरीश जी, आपसे जानना चाहूँगा, आखिरी बार जब आपने बात की उनका क्या कहना था? क्योंकि एक तरह से जो इस बार इलेक्शन के बाद कई लोगों ने कई सवाल उठाए थे, बट उसके बावजूद अजीत पवार ने लगातार यही कोशिश की कि पवार परिवार साथ में जुड़े और साथ में काम करे। आपसे जानना चाहूँगा गिरीश जी, आखिरी दिनों में और आखिरी पल में आपसे जब उनसे बात हुई, उन्होंने क्या कहा आपसे?
नहीं, मेरे उनके बहुत अच्छे रिलेशन थे, बहुत अच्छे। मैं आपसे कहूँगा कि आप किसी को भी पूछोगे कैबिनेट में, किसी को भी, तो दादा मेरे साथ जितनी मजाक करते थे, हंसी मजाक करते थे, उतनी किसी के साथ में भी नहीं करते थे। एक भी ऐसी कैबिनेट नहीं होगी कि दादा ने मेरे बारे में कुछ कहा नहीं, मजाकी तौर पे कहा नहीं, सबको हंसाया नहीं, ऐसा एक बार भी नहीं हुआ आज तक कैबिनेट में, एक बार भी नहीं हुआ। हालांकि दादा सबसे इतने खुलते नहीं थे, लेकिन मेरा उनका एक अलग रिश्ता था, मेरा उनका एक अलग मतलब संबंध थे। और कल भी उन्होंने 2-3 बार मेरा इतने कि मैं बता नहीं सकता हूँ किस विषय पर, लेकिन बहुत उन्होंने मेरे साथ में मजाक किया। और एक बहुत अच्छे नेता, हर बात की उनको जानकारी थी। मैं 35 साल से देख रहा हूँ, हर बात की उनको जानकारी थी, बहुत स्पष्ट वक्ता थे, कोई बात बोलने को कोई जगह नहीं थी, कोई हिचकिचाते नहीं थे, स्पष्ट रूप से अपनी बात को सामने कहते थे। और अभी तो चुनाव थे, चुनाव के समय जब उन्होंने कुछ कह दिया था कि भाई मेरे पास ये फाइल, वो फाइल में भी इरिगेशन मिनिस्टर रहा हूँ पिछले समय 14 से 19 अभी भी, तो मैंने दादा से बात की थी लास्ट कैबिनेट में कि दादा आप ऐसे कैसे कह सकते हो, आपने शक्ल कहना गलत है। मैं हमेशा उनको कहता, कुछ भी हुआ तो मैं उनको फोन करके भी कहता कि दादा नहीं, ये ठीक नहीं है, दादा ये ठीक है, दादा ऐसा कहना चाहिए, दादा ऐसा नहीं बोलना चाहिए आपने। मैं दादा को हमेशा एकदम, मेरे उनके बहुत क्लोज रिलेशन थे, बहुत अच्छे रिलेशन थे। भले हमें पार्टी लगे, बहुत बार शुरू में हमारे झगड़े भी हुए थे, सब एक दूसरे को भीड़ भी गए थे, सबको पता है, पहले टर्म से 95 से, लेकिन अंदर हमारे बहुत अच्छे रिलेशन थे। कल भी बहुत उन्होंने मेरे साथ में बहुत अच्छी मजाक की, सबको पता है कैबिनेट में, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं पता था कि आज सुबह सुबह ऐसी ये न्यूज़ हमें सुनने मिलेगी। इतनी दर्दनाक, इतना मतलब दुखद घटना यह है कि मैं सच्ची बोलता हूँ, मैं हम लोग शब्दों में बयान नहीं कर सकते, बोल ही नहीं सकते।
गिरीश जी, एक आखिरी सवाल करना चाहूँगा क्योंकि हर कोई ये जानना चाहेगा कि आखिरकार ये हुआ कैसे, और दूसरी बात ये है कि आज
जब वो बारामती पहुंच रहे थे जिला परिषद के कोई इवेंट के लिए जा रहे थे, क्या आपके पास कोई जानकारी है कि आखिरकार हुआ क्या है? कोई प्रिलिमिनरी रिपोर्ट जो सरकार के पास इस वक्त पहुंची है कि फ्लाइट में कोई तकनीकी डिफिकल्टीज थे, कुछ इसके बारे में कोई जानकारी आप दे पाएंगे?
अभी तो उसकी जांच होगी, उसके बारे में ये पता चलेगा। अभी हम लोग भी निकल रहे, सीएम साहब डीसी में हम लोग भी निकल रहे, बस बारामती के लिए निकल रहे हैं। लेकिन चुनाव चल रहे जिला परिषद के, सबको पता है, और उसी के लिए रैली थी उनकी, पब्लिक मीटिंग थी, इसलिए वहाँ पे उनका कार्यक्रम शुरू तय था। आज सीएम साहब भी 3 जगह जाने वाले थे, डीसीएम भी, शिंदे साहब भी आज दौरे पे थे, सब पे दौरे लग चुके हैं। लेकिन उसी दौरे को लेकर अजीत दादा आज सुबह ही निकल गए थे, और बस लैंड होते समय ये दुर्घटना घटने में कैसे हुई, क्या हुई, इसको तो डिटेल जांच होगी, उसके बाद में ये मालूम होगा कि एक्चुअली हुआ क्या हुआ।
जी गिरीश जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद रिपब्लिक टीवी से बात करने के लिए। दैट वाज महाराष्ट्र कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर गिरीश महाजन essentially recounting his last moments with the Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar. In fact, we're also getting some more.
पिछले 40 साल से महाराष्ट्र के राजनीति में मेरे बहुत घनिष्ठ मित्र रहे, उनके मेरे पारिवारिक संबंध रहे। बहुत कर्मठ, अच्छा प्रशासक और विकास की दृष्टि रखने वाले ऐसे वो नेता थे। उनके जाने से बहुत बड़ा नुकसान हुआ है। उनके परिवार को भी काफ़ी उनके ऊपर भी एक बड़ा हादसा हुआ है। मुझे लगता है कि भगवान उनको ये जो घटना हुई है इसका दुख सहन करने की ताकत दे। मैं व्यक्तिगत रूप से और पार्टी के तरफ से महाराष्ट्र के इस पुराने सहयोगियों को मैं श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करता हूँ। भगवान उनके आत्मा को शांति दे, यही ईश्वर चरणों में प्रार्थना करता हूँ। नमस्कार।
Well, in fact, these are the images now coming in from the crash site, the last few moments. Just to recount as to what we know so far, the flight took off little after 7 o'clock this morning. In fact, as part of the Zilla Parishad elections, which are basically underway, Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar, along with his party colleagues, was...
क्योंकि मैंने उनके साथ जब हमारी कांग्रेस और महा विकास आघाड़ी ये दोनों गवर्नमेंट थी, जब कांग्रेस राष्ट्रवादी की गवर्नमेंट थी 2009 से 14 तक और 19 से लेकर 21 तक जब महाविकास आघाड़ी की सरकार थी, उनके साथ काम करने का मौका मिला। जिस तरह से उनकी काम करने की शैली थी, वो सब पूरा महाराष्ट्र जानता है कि टाइम के साथ काम करना, सिंसियरली काम करना, महाराष्ट्र हित के लिए काम करना और महाराष्ट्र के विकास में जो काम करने वाली भूमिका उनकी रही है। मुझे आज लगता है कि पूरा महाराष्ट्र दुखी होगा कि जिस तरह से हमारे सहकारी रह के उन्होंने काम किया है, एक पार्टी को बढ़ाने का उन्होंने काम किया है। आज मैं अपनी तरफ से, अपनी पार्टी की तरफ से उनके लिए शोक भावना व्यक्त करती हूँ। और मुझे बहुत शौक लगा क्योंकि आप भी देख रहे हैं, मैं जस्ट अभी लैंड होके आई हूँ और जब मैंने फ़्लाइट में जब ये बात सुनी तो मुझे बहुत शौक हुआ क्योंकि उनके साथ काम करने का मेरा भी अनुभव रहा है। पिछले लगभग 20 साल हम लोग असेंबली में साथ में काम कर रहे थे और मुझे पता है कि अजीत दादा का स्वभाव कैसे, हमारे दादा के साथ हमारे अलग रिश्ते थे, फैमिली के भी रिश्ते थे, तो कहीं ना कहीं दुख का माहौल है आज।
Well, in fact, colleagues of Ajit Pawar, in fact, that was Varsha Gaikwad speaking about Ajit Pawar. These images are now coming in from inside a GMC hospital with the mortal remains of Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar and his staff members have been brought in. Now, of course, this comes across as a rude shocker to the party members. In fact, Ajit Pawar, who was scheduled to hold a rally in Baramati as part of the Zilla Parishad elections. In fact, all the party workers had basically gathered at the airport where Ajit Pawar was expected to land little after 8:45 this morning. Now, we do have a confirmation now coming in that there was a technical difficulty leading to this crash landing just close to the touchdown phase. In fact, Maharashtra Chief Minister has already ordered for an inquiry to be carried out. An assessment is essentially being done at this point in time. Now, this undoubtedly comes as a painful times for the Pawar family, given the fact that there were talks that were basically underway of the Pawar family essentially being reunited. On your screens right now, you have Rohit Pawar, nephew of Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar now coming in sea of crowd that you see on your screens right now from GMC Hospital. In fact, Ajit Pawar has largely been credited for restructuring the party. In fact, from the humiliating loss that they've had in the past, it is Ajit Pawar who's largely been seen as the grassroots leader, taking the mantle from his uncle Sharad Pawar, who floated the party NCP. And thereafter, on your screens right now, these images coming in from the GMC hospital.
Official statement.
Oh my God, that's horrible. This is such a horrible news, and I'm so sorry कि मुझे तो अभी एक्चुअली हम लोग बहुत जल्दबाजी में रहते हैं जब सुबह सुबह आते हैं, मतलब there is not enough word to say कि पर खैर मैं अपने इमोशंस थोड़ा अलाइन करके I'll give a statement.
Expecting their leader Ajit Pawar to address a rally later today. In fact, these images coming in from the GMC hospital where the mortal remains of Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar along with other party workers and staff members have been kept. In fact, we are now given to understand that the Chief Minister has spoken to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. In fact, the Prime Minister has put out a condolence message right now. This has undoubtedly come across as a big shock for the entire political class as well as for the state of Maharashtra. In fact, I'm just going to take you through the statement that has been put out by the Prime Minister after speaking to the Chief Minister here. This is what the Prime Minister has to say. Saddened by the tragic air crash in Baramati, Maharashtra, my thoughts are with all those who lost their loved ones in the crash, praying for strength and courage for the bereaved families in the moment of profound grief. In fact, the Chief Minister also has put out a statement a short while back. In fact, the Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, who were basically on the way for a rally in the state, have now cut short the rallies. And in fact, we're now given to understand some of them would be traveling to Baramati. As far as the Pawar family is concerned, I'm given to understand Supriya Sule as well as Ajit Pawar's wife Sunitra Pawar are expected to leave from the national capital roughly around 11:30 this morning. They're headed towards Baramati, and thereafter, in fact, they would be meeting in Mumbai. We haven't heard from Sharad Pawar as yet, but just a quick recap of what we know so far. As I was pointing out, this crash landing took place around 8:45 this morning when Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister was on his way for holding a rally in Baramati. And this is the very constituency which is essentially seen as the stronghold of the Pawar family. And Ajit Pawar has been, along with Supriya Sule, has been nurturing this very constituency. After the setback that Ajit Pawar has had in the recently concluded municipal elections, these Zilla Parishad elections were largely seen as yet another test for the leader. In fact, there were unsettled issues within the family as well as within the party, which Ajit Pawar was trying to iron it out. In fact, ahead of the municipal elections, Ajit Pawar had basically reconciled with his differences with the family members, with some sort of a settlement essentially taking place. Now, for those who have been tracking the rise of Ajit Pawar, a deputy chief minister who in fact is seen, who's a popular moniker that is there in the state of Maharashtra, that he has been a deputy chief minister for the longest time, and in fact with almost all political parties he's had perhaps an alliance starting from the BJP as well as the Congress party, where you've had, as they say in Maharashtra, a man who has had political equations cutting across party lines. In fact, in the last few days, what was essentially seen was Ajit Pawar trying to stitch the alliance and ensuring that the party remains relevant in the state of Maharashtra. With the failing health condition of Sharad Pawar, it was Ajit Pawar who was largely viewed as someone who would have taken forward the political legacy of Sharad Pawar, and that's exactly what Ajit Pawar, who started his political career in the year 1991 and thereafter, has actually seen a rise in his I'm told there's some more.
जो व्यक्ति 8 बार लगातार विधायक रहे हों, 6 बार अपने प्रदेश के डिप्टी सीएम बने हों, इसी में से उनकी लोकप्रियता मानी जा सकती है। लेकिन कुल मिला करके इसमें कुछ किसी का दोष भी नहीं ठहराया जा सकता। वो प्लेन क्रैश में आज उनका देहांत हुआ। मैं उनके प्रति अपनी श्रद्धांजलि व्यक्त करता हूँ।
थैंक यू।
Well, in fact, responses now coming in from party colleagues as well as other political leaders. The sudden demise of Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Ajit Pawar. In fact, a short while back, President Draupadi Murmu has also put out a condolence message. This undoubtedly is a big shock for not just the family members, but for the entire state, particularly for a party which has put the entire responsibility of its relevance on one man, that is Ajit Pawar, who has largely been seen as the political manager for this party and someone who would have taken forward the legacy of Sharad Pawar. In fact, there was an understanding that was with his cousin Supriya Sule, as Supriya Sule would have taken care of the political affairs of the party here in the national capital, and Ajit Pawar would essentially be taking care of the responsibilities of the party in the state of Maharashtra. I want to stay with these images now coming in from
शोक मैंने बात की सुप्रिया जी से भी और उनकी मैसेज से भी। थैंक यू।
महाराष्ट्र के लिए भी हो और इंडिया के लिए भी बहुत नुकसान है। मैं उनका परिवार को साहस देने के लिए मैं भगवान से प्रार्थना करता हूँ, उनका आत्मा को शांति दे। थैंक यू।
Well, in fact, responses now coming in from inside the parliament. Almost every parliamentarian walking in right now for the session has expressed their grief and shock in this incident that has taken place early morning. This morning, the nation woke up to the news of Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar's plane crash landing. This happened around 8:45 this morning, as these images now coming in from Baramati. We do have a confirmation of the fact that the mortal remains of the Deputy Chief Minister has been taken to...
मतलब अजीत दादा पवार जी का अचानक निधन होना ये महाराष्ट्र की राजनीति का बहुत बड़ा नुकसान है, महाराष्ट्र की जनता का बहुत बड़ा नुकसान है। अजीत दादा बहुत बड़े संघर्षशील नेता थे, बहुत बड़े एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर थे। विकास के लिए उन्होंने महायुति ज्वाइन की थी और लगातार उन्होंने डिप्टी सीएम पद पर बहुत अच्छा काम किया था। और जिला पंचायत के चुनाव में मतलब जो जिस तरह मतलब वो प्रचार के लिए जा रहे थे और वहाँ विमान का जो क्रैश हुआ है उससे महाराष्ट्र का भारी नुकसान हुआ है और हम सब लोग अभी उनके अंत्य संस्कार के लिए जा रहे हैं, तो ये बहुत बड़ा नुकसान हमारे महाराष्ट्र का हुआ।
परिवारजनों से आपकी बात हुई है क्या?
नहीं, अभी तो बात नहीं हुई। अभी तो परिवार तो अभी जिनकी सुमित्रा पवार और सुप्रिया सुले मतलब वहाँ जा रहे हैं, हम भी जा रहे हैं, तो मतलब ये बहुत बड़ा नुकसान हुआ है और एक बहुत ही अच्छे नेता को हमने खो दिया है।
बेहद दुखद घटना है, पूरे देश में शोक व्याप्त है। मैं उनके चरणों में श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करता हूँ। ईश्वर उनको अपने चरणों में जगह दे और उनके परिवार और पूरे देश को इस महान दुख को सहन करने की क्षमता प्रदान करे।
सर, अजीत दादा पवार का निधन हो गया है।
आज हम सब शोक में हैं, समझ नहीं आ रहा है कैसे इतना बड़ा हादसा हुआ। हमारे घनिष्ठ मित्र थे, हमारी सरकार में अहम पद पर थे, सहयोगी थे, महाराष्ट्र के बड़े ऊंचे स्तर के नेता और हम सबके प्रिय अजीत दादा नहीं रहे.
Evolving and a developing situation, we should await an official confirmation on what really.
Well, in fact, we have a little bit more information now coming in as to what really happened this morning when the crash landing took place. In fact, sources now indicating, my colleague Alisha getting us the latest details with regards to the aircraft which kept drifting right. That was during the landing, a clear indication that there was a technical failure. A massive fire actually broke out after the plane crashed, and all on board were evacuated, but all were seriously wounded and later succumbed to their injuries. We'll try and see if we can get in more responses right now. In fact, just a quick recap of all that we know so far. Now a confirmation coming in from sources that the flight experienced difficulties while landing. That's the touchdown phase where the aircraft experienced difficulties. Not very sure how exactly the pilot essentially responded and what was the communication with the ATC. But it turns out that the aircraft was drifting right, perhaps not on the runway track. In fact, there was an attempt that was actually made by the pilot to carry out an emergency landing, and that's when the crash landing took place. The fire broke out. It seems that the locals in that area immediately reached the spot.
देखिए, विपक्ष सारे मुद्दे उठाने का प्रयास करेगा, सरकार को मुद्दे उठा देने चाहिए.
Just continuing with the details that we do have right now, as I was pointing out at the last moments as to what really led to the crash, we do have a confirmation that this happened during the emergency landing that was taking place. In fact, there appears to be a communication that has taken place with the ATC with regards to they were unable to land, and the attempt that was actually made for an emergency landing, that's when the aircraft was basically drifting towards the right, moving away from the runway track. And the moment it crash landed is when the fire actually broke out. We're being told that the locals who were the first responders took the bodies out from the wreckage and thereafter took them to the nearby hospital, where it seems that they were essentially declared dead the moment they were brought to the hospital. Now that's what the information that we have. This is the preliminary set of information that has come in. We are waiting for an official confirmation, which perhaps as far as what led to the crash could only come in after a formal inquiry that is going to be carried out by the Maharashtra government. In fact, there is an indication that has already come in from the Chief Minister's office that in fact, there would be a preliminary investigation that would be carried out to find out the circumstances under which the landing actually took place, and more importantly, the feasibility, or for that matter, the fitness of the aircraft would also be looked into as part of the investigation. I just want to stay with these images to try and help you understand what really happened. In fact, this is a barren area just closer to the airport where the emergency landing was being attempted by the pilot. That's where it seems that they've lost control and it crash landed, and immediately thereafter the aircraft caught fire. In fact, there was an attempt that was made by the locals to take the bodies out, and they were successful in doing so and had taken the bodies towards the nearby hospital. GMC hospital is where the bodies were actually taken, and they were declared dead the moment they arrived at the hospital. These the mangled remains of the aircraft. As you can see, the tail of the aircraft seems to be intact. As of now, we are not very sure about what kind of a difficulty did the pilot really experience during the landing, and what kind of a technical error that was basically reported. That clarity hasn't come in. We are expecting more details coming in from the experts in a short while from now. But undoubtedly, it's a painful moment for everyone in the state of Maharashtra. Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar no more. In fact, he was scheduled to address a rally this morning in Baramati, the home constituency of the Pawars, represented by his cousin Supriya Sule. In fact, family members are expected to arrive in Baramati in a short while from now. These are the latest images coming in on your screens right now. The wreckage of the aircraft that was carrying Deputy Chief Minister.
मुख्यमंत्री श्री अजीत पवार जी का विमान दुर्घटना में दुखद निधन हो गया है। इस समाचार से जहां उनके परिजनों पर एक गहरा एक तरह से आघात, उनके समर्थकों और महाराष्ट्र की जनता को वह और महाराष्ट्र की जनता उनको बहुत प्यार करती थी। दुख की इस घड़ी में मैं भगवान से यही प्रार्थना करता हूं कि श्री अजीत पवार जी जो अब हम सबके बीच में नहीं रहे, उन्हें अपने श्री चरणों में स्थान दें और परिवार को, उनके समर्थकों को यह पीड़ा सहने की शक्ति प्रदान करें। श्री अजीत पवार जी एनडीए के एक मजबूत सहयोगी थे और महाराष्ट्र के वो बड़े नेता थे। इस प्रकार से कोई घटना दुर्घटना हो जाएगी ऐसी कोई कल्पना भी नहीं कर सकता। लेकिन चुनाव प्रचार के लिए वह बारामती क्षेत्र में गए थे और बता रहे हैं कि लैंडिंग के समय विमान दुर्घटनाग्रस्त हो गया। वह और उनके साथ जितने भी लोग विमान में सवार थे उनका दुखद निधन हुआ है। मैं अजीत पवार जी और जो भी उस दुर्घटना में मारे गए उनको अपनी विनम्र श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करता हूं और भगवान से बारंबार प्रार्थना करता हूं कि उन्हें अपने चरणों में स्थान दें। उनके परिजनों को, महाराष्ट्र की जनता को यह दुख सहने की सामर्थ्य प्रदान करें।
Well, in fact, we do have an information now coming in with regards to Sharad Pawar. We're now being told that Sharad Pawar has left for the airport. In fact, Supriya Sule and a few other leaders are expected to take off from T4 terminal. Here, T3 terminal in the General Aviation Terminal from the national capital. They are expected to take the flight from there. Headed towards Baramati is what we are being told. Son Parth Pawar is also going to leave for Baramati from Mumbai. In fact, the family members were all present here in the national capital. Supriya Sule was essentially expected to be part of the general session that would be taking place in a short while from now. Just to recount a few details that we have. In fact, yesterday is when the cabinet meeting actually took place in Mumbai, where Ajit Pawar was also present. A short while back, his cabinet colleague Girish Mahajar, who basically recounted the manner in which the Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar has always conducted with his party colleagues, as well as colleagues from other parties. Essentially, not many would have known the fact that here is a political leader who essentially comes across as someone who's tough, but at the same time had a great sense of humor. Ajit Pawar does have a mixed bag of, a checkered past too, as far as his political career is concerned. Someone who's had to face some very serious allegations of corruption in the past. Irrigation scam being one such, in which Ajit Pawar has been named, but somehow, as many would say, that as a political leader who's had a Teflon coating, he's managed to time and again spring back. In fact, this elections, many had actually written him off, particularly during the Lok Sabha elections. Sharad Pawar's latest images now coming in. This is from the Mumbai residence of Silver Oak, where Sharad Pawar has just left. We are now being told that he's headed towards Baramati. That's the latest images coming in from Sharad Pawar's residence. Tough moment for a man who has been battling to keep his family together. In fact, the biggest setback essentially coming in with the party basically splitting, NCP being divided after Ajit Pawar took the decision that the party would go in alliance with the BJP and forming the Mahayuti, something that was unacceptable to his cousin Supriya Sule, and essentially prevailing upon Father Sharad Pawar of not joining the Bharatiya Janata Party, not being part of the Mahayuti. But remember, ahead of the Pimpri-Chinchwad election as well as Pune elections, the Pawar families essentially had basically reunited with Supriya Sule and Ajit Pawar sharing the dais, an indication that the family could be coming together. Ujjwal Nikam is also now speaking right now, BJP leader Ujjwal Nikam. We'll try and see if we can go across to him.
देहांत हो गया बहुत दुखद घटना है। जहां तक मैं उनको जानता था और कई सालों से मेरा उनका व्यक्तिगत रूप में परिचय था, मुझे याद था जितने वो दिखने में स्ट्रिक्ट थे, तलवार जैसी बात करते थे, लेकिन हृदय के बहुत कोमल थे। मैं पुणे से बंबई से जब आ रहा था तो एक घाट में मेरा कार का एक्सीडेंट हुआ। तुरंत न्यूज़ फ्लैश हुई और दूसरे वक्त कुछ मिनटों में अजीत दादा का मुझे पर्सनल फोन आया। अजीत दादा जी ने मुझे पूछा, उज्जवल जी कहीं ज़्यादा चोट लगी है? मैंने कहा नहीं। कोई आतंकी मामला है? मैंने कहा नहीं, वो दूसरे वाले गाड़ी का ड्राइवर का दोष था। इतने कोमल हृदय, दूसरों की हमेशा चिंता करने वाले, राजनीति में भी प्रिंसिपल साफ रखना और हाँ तो हाँ कहना, नहीं तो नहीं कहना, इस प्रकार का उनका काम था। उन्होंने राष्ट्रवादी पक्ष के लिए बहुत कुछ काम किया है और उनकी धर्मपत्नी मेरे साथ राज्यसभा की सांसद भी है। सुनेत्रा भाभी पर बहुत ये दुखद घटना का एक डोंगर आ गया होगा। सुनेत्रा भाभी उनके जैसे ही स्वभाव से तरल है। मुझे लगता है कि ये महाराष्ट्र की बहुत बड़ी हानि है, मेरी व्यक्तिगत हानि है और पवार कुटुंबीय तो हानि है, क्योंकि जो बात अपने मुंह से निकाली वो बात वो अंतिम तक कायम रखते थे। ऐसे एक अजीत दादा न होने के कारण मेरी व्यक्तिगत, महाराष्ट्र की बहुत हानि हुई। मैं ईश्वर से प्रार्थना करता हूं कि उनके परिवार को ये दुखद घटना झेलने का एक साहस दीजिए। महाराष्ट्राचे लाडके उपमुख्यमंत्री अजितदादा यांचं विमान अपघातात आज दुःखद निधन झालं। मनाला अतिशय धक्का देणारी घटना आहे। अजितदादा हे त्यांच्या शब्दाप्रमाणे नेहमी सरळ, होला हो, नसेल काम होत तर नाही, हे शब्द नेहमी त्यांच्या तोंडात असत। अजितदादा जरी दिसायला कठोर होते, बोलायला जरी कठोर वाटत असले, तरी हृदयाने ते फार मऊ होते। याचा अनुभव मला अनेक वेळा येत असेल। मी पुण्याहून मुंबईला येत असताना घाटामध्ये अपघात झाला आणि ती बातमी ताबडतोब टीव्हीवरती झळकली। 5 मिनिटाच्या आत अजितदादांचा मला फोन आला, उज्ज्वलजी तुम्हाला गंभीर दुखापत झाली आहे का? काही याच्यात अतिरेक्यांचा डाव आहे का? मी म्हटलं दादा नाही, गाडीचा अपघात आहे, निव्वळ अपघात आहे, आपण काळजी करू नका। असे हे अजितदादा, त्यांनी बऱ्याच वेळा त्यांना शब्दाप्रमाणे वागल्यानंतर मनात दुःखही व्हायचं, ते व्यक्त देखील करायचे। त्यांच्या धर्मपत्नी सुनेत्रा वहिनी या आमच्या संवेदास राज्यसभेच्या खासदार म्हणून आहेत। आज मला भेटणार होत्या, कारण आज राष्ट्रपतींचं अभिभाषण आहे। दुर्दैवाने सुनेत्रा वहिनींवरती किती दुःख कोसळ असेल याची मी कल्पना करू शकत नाही। पवार कुटुंबियावरती सर्व दुःख कोसळलं आहे। मोठे पवार साहेब आणि अजितदादा यांनी जरी 2 पक्ष वेगळे काढले होते, तरी काका आणि पुतण्यांचं प्रेम देखील हे मनोमनी असायचं। अजितदादा एकदा निर्णय घेतला त्याप्रमाणे
Well, in fact, some more details basically emerging of what really happened this morning when the crash landing took place. In fact, as we have been pointing out, that the aircraft which had drifted away from the runway, we do have some more details now coming in. In fact, Pune Rural Police Commissioner has now confirmed that about 3 bodies were basically taken out immediately after the crash took place. In fact, from the airport authorities now details coming in that the chartered flight was attempting landing.
आज महाराष्ट्रात घडली आहे। खरं म्हणजे असं कुणाच्या स्वप्नातही वाटलं नसेल की अजितदादा एवढ्या लवकर आपल्यातून जातील ही महाराष्ट्रासाठी अतिशय दुःखद आणि दुर्दैवी घटना अजितदादांच्या जाण्याने झालेली आहे. खरं म्हणजे अजितदादा गेले अनेक वर्ष या महाराष्ट्राच्या राजकारणात नेतृत्व करत होते आणि अतिशय परखड स्पष्ट वक्तेपणा आणि प्रशासनावर असलेली त्यांची पकड आपण पाहिलेली आहे. प्रत्येक गोष्टीचा त्यांना बारीक अभ्यास करून बोलण्याची सवय होती आणि परखड स्पष्ट वक्तेपणा, निर्भीड, रोखठोक बोलणारे असले तरी सुद्धा त्याला चूक म्हणणारे असले तरी सुद्धा अतिशय मनाने ते निर्मळ होते. याचा अनुभव मी स्वतः घेतलेला आहे. त्यांच्यासोबत मी मंत्रिमंडळात देखील काम केलं. मी मुख्यमंत्री असताना त्यांनी उपमुख्यमंत्री म्हणून देखील काम केलं आणि जेव्हा मुख्यमंत्री मी असताना मुख्यमंत्री माझी लाडकी बहीण योजना किंबहुना इतरही योजना जेव्हा आम्ही सुरू केल्या तेव्हा आर्थिक जे काही घडी आहे किंवा आर्थिक तरतूद जी आहे ती अतिशय उत्तमपणे त्यांनी त्यावेळेस केली आणि त्याचा अनुभव मला आहे. आणि एकदा करायचं ठरवलं की ते अजितदादा करतो, बघतो, पाहतो असे शब्द त्यांच्या डिक्शनरीत नव्हते. व्हायचं असेल ते तात्काळ करायचे, नसेल त्याला नाही म्हणायचे, असा स्पष्ट वक्तेपणा.
Well, in fact, when I was the chief minister, in fact, several schemes that were brought in, including the Ladki Behna scheme, and some Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar would be looking into every minute details.
आमच्या वेळाही कामाच्या वेगवेगळ्या, मी पहाटे उशिरापर्यंत काम करतो, अजितदादा पहाटे लवकर काम सुरू करतात, देवेंद्रजी दिवसभर काम करतात.
Ajit Pawar was known as someone who would work in breakneck speed.
अधिकाऱ्यांनी आणि लोकप्रतिनिधींनी पाहिलेले आहे. अतिशय वेळेचं महत्त्व आणि वेळेचं भान ठेवणारा नेता हरपलेला आहे. खरं म्हणजे काल परवाच आमची एका कार्यक्रमामध्ये भेट झाली. सरन्यायाधीश
I met him during a program yesterday.
मुंबईत आले होते.
He had come to Mumbai.
आम्ही तिथंच एका चेंबरमध्ये बसलो होतो.
We were together in the chamber.
चर्चा, गप्पा गोष्टी.
There were several discussions that we had.
कळली तेव्हा तेच समोर त्याच आठवणी काल परवाच्या येऊ लागल्या. खरं म्हणजे माझ्यापेक्षा ते राजकारणात देखील अनुभवी नेते, गेल्या अनेक वर्षापासूनचा त्यांचा अनुभव, वयाने देखील माझ्यापेक्षा
The experience that Ajit Pawar has is unmatched.
त्यांना राज्यातल्या अनेक विषयांचा गाढा अभ्यास होता. अनेक विभाग त्यांनी हाताळले होते. याचा राज्याला फायदा होत होता. मंत्रिमंडळात देखील ज्यावेळेस काही विषय यायचे त्यावेळेस आपल्या राज्याची आर्थिक परिस्थिती अशी आहे, आपल्याला सर्वांना काटकसर करावी लागेल, अशी अगदी निर्भीडपणे सांगणारे अजितदादा देखील आम्ही अनुभवलेत.
The financial condition of the state is something that has been handled by the Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar many a times in the past.
त्यांच्या जाण्याने फक्त पवार कुटुंबियांचंच नाही तर संपूर्ण
This is a loss not just of the family of the Pawars, but it is a loss for the entire state.
वयाने मोठे असल्यामुळे एक जी काय आमची गेल्या अनेक वर्षापासूनची जवळीक निर्माण झाली होती. त्यामुळे राजकारणातले आम्ही तिघजण एक टीम म्हणून काम करत असलो तरीसुद्धा एक मोठा भाऊ हरपल्याची गेल्याची भावना देखील, दुःख देखील.
It seems that I have also lost an elder brother here.
मी त्यांना भावपूर्ण आदरांजली अर्पित करीत असतानाच मनामध्ये फार दुःखाच्या भावना आहेत. त्यांचं कुटुंब हे दुःख पचवण्याची क्षमता डोंगरा एवढं दुःख आहे. ही क्षमता ईश्वराने त्यांना प्रदान करावी. कुटुंबाचंच नाही, संपूर्ण महाराष्ट्राचं झालेलं आहे नुकसान. हां, मी आणि मुख्यमंत्री देखील आम्ही जातो आहे. आमचे सहकारी आमच्यातून गेलेत, त्याचं दुःख आहे. म्हणजे सभा होत्या त्याही आज आम्ही रद्द केलेल्या आहे.
सर, एक विचार असं वाटतं की तुम्ही आता उल्लेख केला की 2 दिवसांपूर्वी त्यांच्या जवळपास 1-1.5 तास तुम्ही बसलेले होतात दोघंच, खूप गप्पा झाल्या त्या चेंबरमध्ये. असं काही एक त्यांच्या किंवा मंत्रिमंडळात देखील असताना अशी काही त्यांची इच्छा, एखादी योजना किंवा एखादं त्यांना करायचं होतं की तुमच्याशी त्यांनी शेअर केली, आपण हे करूया मिळून महाराष्ट्रासाठी, असं काही?
नाही, आम्ही आतापर्यंत एकत्र जेव्हा तेही उपमुख्यमंत्री होते तेव्हा मी मंत्रिमंडळात होतो. मी मुख्यमंत्री असतानाही उपमुख्यमंत्री होते. आता देवेंद्रजी मुख्यमंत्री. आम्ही जे काही निर्णय आम्ही घ्यायचो ते निर्णय मिळूनच घ्यायचो. आणि मग एकदा एखादी सूचना आली की मग त्याला तिघांनी बळ देऊन ते पूर्ण करायचं. अजितदादा देखील एकदा कधी असंही म्हणायचे की आपली आर्थिक आता आपली जी काही अर्थव्यवस्था महाराष्ट्र,
The Chief Minister and myself, we would be visiting Baramati.
आपल्याला काटकसर करावी लागेल. पण जेव्हा काही निर्णय आपल्याला घ्यावेच लागतील त्यावेळेस मात्र ते मागे हटत नव्हते आणि याचा अनुभव देखील आम्ही घेतलेला आहे.
साहेब, न भरून निघणारे पोकळी सातारा असेल, पश्चिम महाराष्ट्र या ठिकाणी देखील कशा प्रकारची तुम्ही पोकळी भरून काढणार आहे?
नाही, यामध्ये साताराच नाही आहे, तर त्यांचं जे असलेलं जे काही अनुभव आहे हा महाराष्ट्रासाठी होता.
The kind of experience that Ajit Pawar has had, this is an experience which has not only helped the state but the country.
हा जो विमान अपघात झाला ज्या प्रकारे, काय वाटतं याची चौकशी व्हायला हवी आणि येणाऱ्या काळामध्ये असे अपघात होऊ नयेत, त्यामुळे
बिलकुल याची शेवटी आमच्या सहकार्याचा जीव याच्यामध्ये गेला आहे. 6 लोक मृत्युमुखी पडलेले आहेत. त्यामुळे या विमान अपघाताची चौकशी नक्कीच व्हायला पाहिजे, नक्कीच होईल.
There will be a full-fledged investigation that will be carried out.
अशा प्रकारचे अपघात होता कामा नये यासाठी हे गरजेचं आहे आणि त्यासाठी त्याची चौकशी देखील होईल.
थोडक्यात हिंदीमध्ये सर, क्या कहोगे अजित पवार जी का निधन हो गया?
बहुत ही आज महाराष्ट्र के लिए एक काला दिन कहूँ, एक दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण घटना कहूँ, एक दुखद घटना कहूँ. ऐसी घटना जो हर एक के एक दिल को दुखाने वाली घटना आज महाराष्ट्र में घटी है. हमारे सहयोगी अजीत दादा पवार जी का प्लेन एक्सीडेंट में दुर्दैवी मृत्यु हुई है. ये हमारे लिए बहुत ही बेहद दुखद है और महाराष्ट्र के लिए भी दुखद है. उनके परिवार के लिए तो बहुत ही दुखद है. और अजीत दादा एक स्पष्ट वक्ता के रूप में जाने जाते थे, एक रोक टोक बोलने वाले. देखता हूँ, करता हूँ ऐसे शब्द उनके डिक्शनरी में नहीं थे. जो होना है वो तुरंत करते थे, जो नहीं होना है उसे साफ ना कहते थे. लेकिन वो कड़े शब्दों में कहते भी, लेकिन मन के बहुत अच्छे थे और इसका अनुभव मैंने लिया है. उनके उप मुख्यमंत्री कार्यकाल में मैंने मंत्री के रूप में काम किया. मैं मुख्यमंत्री था तभी उन्होंने उप मुख्यमंत्री के रूप में काम किया. आज देवेंद्र जी मुख्यमंत्री है उनमें भी हम दोनों ने उप मुख्यमंत्री के रूप में काम किया है। हम टीम बनकर काम कर रहे थे, महाराष्ट्र को आगे बढ़ा रहे थे। इसमें एक हमारा टीम वर्क था और मेरा काम करने का तरीका जैसे देर रात तक काम करता था। अजीत दादा जल्दी सुबह उठकर उनकी शुरुआत होती थी। देवेंद्र जी भी दिन भर काम करते और सुबह उन्होंने 6 बजे अपॉइंटमेंट दी हुई, ये भी इस राज्य के अधिकारियों को पता है। एक समय को बहुत ही महत्व देने वाले एक कद्दावर, बहुत ही कर्मठ नेता जो है, समय सूचकता रखने वाले नेता जो है, ये नेता हमारे में से अभी नहीं रहे और ये हमारा और महाराष्ट्र का, उनके परिवार का बहुत काफ़ी बड़ा नुकसान हुआ है। उनको कई अलग अलग विभाग जो है उन्होंने काम किया, उस पर उनको अनुभव था। हर एक विभाग की जानकारी लेके वो अपना स्टेटमेंट करते थे, अपना निर्णय लेते थे। मैं मुख्यमंत्री था तब लाडली बहन योजना या कई योजनाएं हमने तीनों ने मिलकर टीम बनकर शुरू कर दी। उसमें भी अजीत दादा ने बहुत ही योगदान दिया हुआ है। और जैसे अर्थव्यवस्था जो है हमारी महाराष्ट्र की, वो उसके बारे में भी कभी कभी बहुत ही रोक टोक मंत्रिमंडल में उन्होंने बताया भी कि हमारी परिस्थिति ऐसी है, हमें कुछ यहाँ इसमें जोड़ तोड़ करनी पड़ेगी। लेकिन जब जो चीज़ करनी ही है, जो समाज के लिए आवश्यक है, उसमें कभी भी उन्होंने हाथ पीछे नहीं खींचा। अर्थमंत्री होने के नाते उन्होंने काफ़ी योगदान दिया है। मेरे से वो राजनीति में भी अनुभवी थे और उम्र से भी मेरे बड़े थे। एक टीम हमारी थी, एक टीम का एक हिस्सा अभी नहीं रहा है और एक बड़ा भाई हमारे में से गया है, ऐसी भी हमारी भावना है। इसलिए मैं उनको बहुत दुख भरी श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करता हूँ। उनके परिवार को इस दुख से बाहर आने की शक्ति ईश्वर प्रदान करे, ऐसे ईश्वर से प्रार्थना करता हूँ।
सर, 8 बार उप मुख्यमंत्री रह चुके हैं। आपके कुछ दिन पहले उनके साथ
महाराष्ट्र के साथ आपके भाव आपके आंसू में भी नम जैसे आंसू
नहीं, कैसे वो उनका स्वभाव ऐसे था। वैसे बाहर से सबको लगता था बहुत ही कड़क है और रुष्ट है, लेकिन दिल से बहुत काफ़ी वो नम्र थे और निर्मल थे। ये मैंने कई बार देखा है, अनुभव भी किया है। इसलिए ये एक महाराष्ट्र का एक बहुत बड़ा नुकसान उनके जाने से जो भर नहीं आ पाएगा, ये वो
8 बार मुख्यमंत्री
पूरे इस तरह के हादसे।
हाँ बिल्कुल, इसकी जो दुर्घटना हुई है इसकी जांच जरूर होगी, क्योंकि ऐसी दुर्घटना पुनरावृत्ति ना हो, दोबारा ना हो, इसलिए जरूर इसकी जांच होनी चाहिए और होगी।
8 बार उप मुख्यमंत्री।
बहुत सारी यादें थी आपके मंत्रिमंडल में भी, उप मुख्यमंत्री थे, आज भी जो है।
मैंने कहा ना कि जब मैं मुख्यमंत्री था तब उन्होंने जो हमने फैसले लिए, निर्णय लिए समाज हित के लिए, तब अजीत दादा अर्थ मंत्री थे, तो उनका भी काफी योगदान उसमें रहा है, ये कोई नहीं भूल सकता है।
8 बार उप मुख्यमंत्री। कुछ दिन पहले आपकी उनसे मुलाकात हुई थी, क्या बातचीत हुई थी? 1.5 घंटा आपसे।
अभी हमारे सुप्रीम कोर्ट के चीफ जस्टिस यहाँ आए थे मुंबई में, अभी हम बैठे थे उनके आने से पहले। अभी काफी हंसी मजाक हो रही थी, चर्चा हो रही थी, वही बातें आज सामने आ रही है। 2 दिन पहले हम साथ में बैठे थे और आज अजीत दादा नहीं रहे, ये दुख की बात है।
Eknath Shinde, the Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister, and and Ajit Pawar's colleague in the Maharashtra government, saying it's so unfortunate. Saying last evening he was sitting with Ajit Pawar. Last evening they discussed Maharashtra politics. Last evening they discussed the alliance. Last evening, they discussed projects, and suddenly this morning, saying that Ajit Pawar is gone. There is a sense of shock in Maharashtra, not just Maharashtra, across the country. Tributes are pouring in for who is considered as one of India's sharpest politicians. Let's put out some details of what we know so far, ladies and gentlemen. As far as the Learjet 45 operated by VSR, the operator, this is what we know so far. The operator is VSR Ventures Private Limited, LJ45 VTSSK. The names of the pilots are not accurate, so I'm going to take off this graphics. We'll update it and bring this back because we have an updated document now, an updated document that shows the name of the crew and those who are on board. Okay, we're getting in more pictures right now of the wing of the aircraft, the site of the crash. We are hearing that the plane tried to veer towards the right, struggled, and then finally crashed into the hill at the threshold, at the edge of the Baramati airport. These are live pictures coming in from the crash site. The final pictures, and which were moments after the crash, showing the impact and how the plane burst into flames in the aftermath of that crash. That's the wing of the plane still lying at the crash site. Appears to be officials with the police investigating the crash site. Ajit Pawar, accompanied by Vidip Jadhav, accompanied by Pinky Mali. The crew on the Learjet 45, a Bombardier plane that crashed in Baramati. Sumit Kapoor and Captain Shambhavi Pathak. Captain Sumit Kapoor, Captain Shambhavi Pathak. The date of the flight this morning, 28th of January, a VTSSK. The passenger manifest accessed by Republic. This is the estimated time of departure was 7 o'clock. We are hearing 7 o'clock as per the manifest. Whether it took off at sharp 7, we don't know, but the crash itself was reported a little after 8:45 a.m. this morning. That's when the first news and the first pictures emerged of the crash. Ajit Pawar has been killed in the crash. Ladies and gentlemen, these are pictures coming in. We have more details that have now come in. We are told that 3 bodies were recovered immediately after the crash. Aircraft veered to the right side of the runway, crashed, and then exploded. Ajit Pawar's aircraft, the aircraft carrying Ajit Pawar, kept drifting towards the right during the landing. And the circumstances that led to the crash. We are hearing that there was a dense fog condition over Pune and Baramati. A massive fire broke out after the plane crashed in Baramati. All on board were evacuated, but all of them were seriously wounded, and all of them succumbed to their injuries in the aftermath of the crash. Sharad Pawar has also left for Baramati. That's a live breaking news update that we have right now. Sharad Pawar, Supriya Sule, son of Ajit Pawar, wife of Ajit Pawar, the entire family is rushing to Baramati from different parts of the country. Some of the family members were in Delhi to attend the parliament session, and some of them were in Mumbai and are rushing towards Baramati as we speak. In fact, Republic TV is also live from the spot. We're getting in live responses, ladies and gentlemen, from the parliament. Let's cut across live. And while we do that, the passenger manifesto, once again, the breaking news update from the passenger manifesto. Ajit Pawar was on board the plane along with Vidip Jadhav. More responses coming in from those who knew Ajit Pawar. Let's cut across live.
वाकई बहुत दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण बात है ये, और उनका हमारे बीच से चले जाना। और महाराष्ट्र की राजनीति में तो वो बहुत अग्रणी रहे हैं, उनका योगदान बहुत है राजनीति में। तो ये वाकई बहुत दुख की बात है हम सब के लिए कि हमने एक अच्छा नेता खो दिया है।
सर, आपको लगता है कि जांच इतना बड़ा हादसा इतने बड़े लीडर के साथ हो गया अचानक?
इट डिपेंड्स ऑन किस तरह से वो दुर्घटना हुई है। कई बार होता है कि अपने आप कोई चीज़ हो जाती है, लेकिन अब अगर हवा में उड़ते उड़ते कुछ हुआ होगा तो फिर ये भी है कि उसकी जांच भी होनी चाहिए। अगर इस तरह इट डिपेंड्स ऑन सर्कमस्टांसेस जिसमें ये हुआ है बेसिकली, तो वो अधिकारियों का मत होता है कि उसकी जांच होनी चाहिए या नहीं होनी चाहिए।
जब सुबह खबर आई तो हम लोगों को भी विश्वास नहीं हुआ, लेकिन जब डीजीसीए की आधिकारिक बयान आए तो बहुत ही दुखद ये लगा, शॉकिंग था। काफ़ी सीनियर नेता थे, महाराष्ट्र के उप मुख्यमंत्री थे और बहुत उम्मीदें थी राज्य को उनसे। बहरहाल भगवान उनकी आत्मा को शांति दे और उनके परिवार को इस क्षति को सहने की शक्ती दे।
शॉकिंग और सॅड न्यूज है।
संपूर्ण महाराष्ट्रासाठी खूप दुःखद घटना आहे। कालच आम्ही गुरुता गद्दीच्या कार्यक्रमामध्ये एकत्र बसलो होतो, आम्ही लंगरचा देखील स्वाद घेतला होता। माझ्यासाठी एक खूप मोठी हानी आहे, कारण अजितदादा जाणं हे महाराष्ट्रासाठी न भरून निघणारी बोकडी।
Please cut to the parliament where the president is speaking live. We're cutting across live, please.
कृषि का महत्व समझाते हुए संत तिरुवल्लुवर ने कहा था कि समाज के लोग चाहे जिस भी काम से जुड़े हो, हर व्यक्ति का जीवन एक मेहनती किसान के परिश्रम पर निर्भर होता है। इसलिए मेरी सरकार खुशहाल किसान को विकसित भारत की पहली प्राथमिकता के रूप में देखती है। इसी भावना के साथ सरकार ने पीएम किसान सम्मान निधि जैसे योजना को शुरू किए हैं। अब तो इस योजना से किसानों को 4 लाख करोड़ रुपया से अधिक राशि सीधे उनके खाता में भेजी गई है। मेरी सरकार की सही नीतियों और प्रयासों से आज देश के कृषि उत्पादन तेजी से बढ़ रहा है। वर्ष 2024-25 में खाद्यान्न और बागवानी की फसलों में रिकॉर्ड उत्पादन हुआ है। सरकार इन फसलों का भी उत्पादन बढ़ाने के लिए काम कर रही है, जिसमें अभी तो हमारा कृषि क्षेत्र पीछे था। सरकार की मंशा है कि इससे कृषि उत्पादकों का आयात भी कम हो। खाद्य तेल, तिलहन और दलहन से जुड़े नेशनल मिशन के कारण इन क्षेत्रों में देश आत्मनिर्भरता की ओर बढ़ रहा है। इसके लिए इसके बल पर 2024-25 में देश में ऑयल सीड फसलों का उत्पादन भी बढ़ा है। किसानों की अतिरिक्त आय के लिए सरकार द्वारा मिलर्स यानी श्री अन्न को वैश्विक स्तर पर बढ़ावा देने का कार्य भी निरंतर जारी है। माननीय सदस्यगण, आज किसानों को अनाज उत्पादन के साथ ही पशुपालन, मत्स्य पालन और मधुमक्खी पालन से भी आर्थिक प्रगति के रास्ते से जोड़ा जा रहा है। कोस्ट लाइन पर रहने वाले मछुआरों को एक्सक्लूसिव इकोनॉमिक जोन का लाभ देने के लिए नई नीति बनी है। इसके साथ ही हाई सीज की क्षमताओं के इस्तेमाल में सक्षम बनाने के लिए भी नई पॉलिसी बनाई गई है। 2024-25 में देश का मत्स्य उत्पादन लगभग 200 लाख टन हो गया है। 2014 की तुलना में इसमें कुल 105% की बढ़ोतरी हुई है। माननीय सदस्यगण, मेरी सरकार ने एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर के आधुनिकीकरण के लिए और बेहतर लॉजिस्टिक्स निर्माण के लिए एग्रीकल्चर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फंड की व्यवस्था भी की है। मुझे ये साझा करते हुए खुशी हो रही है कि इसके जरिए अब तक 1.25 लाख करोड़ रुपया से अधिक का निजी निवेश आकर्षित हुआ है। इससे युवाओं के लिए रोजगार के लाखों नए मार्ग भी सृजित हुई है। सरकार की दूरदर्शिता से देश में फूड प्रोसेसिंग क्षमता 20 गुना बढ़ी है। इससे किसानों को उनकी फसल का बेहतर मूल्य मिल रहा है। माननीय सदस्यगण, ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में रोजगार और विकास के लिए विकसित भारत जी राम जी कानून बनाया गया है। हो पाएगा। को नई गति मिलेगी और किसान, पशुपालन और मछुआरे साथियों के लिए नई सुविधाएं निर्मित होगी। माननीय सदस्यगण, मेरी सरकार कृषि और पशुपालन जैसे सेक्टर्स में सहकारिता आंदोलन को सशक्त बना रही है। आज त्रिभुवन सहकारी यूनिवर्सिटी से सहकारिता से जुड़े लोगों को सीखने और आगे बढ़ने का मौका मिल रहा है। इसके अलावा 10,000 से ज्यादा FPOs के माध्यम से भी कृषि क्षेत्रों को सशक्त किया जा रहा है। माननीय सदस्यगण, मेरी सरकार स्पष्ट रूप से मानती है कि देश का विकास सभी देशवासियों को आगे बढ़ने का समान अधिकार देकर ही संभव है। इसलिए आज देश वुमेन लेड डेवलपमेंट के मंत्र के साथ आगे बढ़ रहा है। मेरी सरकार ने महिलाओं के लिए समर्पित विशेष योजनाएं बनाए हैं और साथ ही अन्य योजनाओं के केंद्र में भी महिलाओं को रखा है। प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना से लेकर जल जीवन मिशन तो हर योजना में महिला लाभार्थियों को बड़ी वरीयता मिली है। देश के विकास में महिलाओं की भागीदारी बढ़ाने के लिए मेरी सरकार ने 10 करोड़ महिलाओं को स्वयं सहायता समूहों से जोड़ा है। आज देश में लखपति दीदियों की संख्या 2 करोड़ से ज्यादा हो चुका है। बीते एक वर्ष में ही 60 लाख से ज्यादा महिलाएं लखपति दीदी बनी हैं। मेरी सरकार कुल 3 करोड़ महिलाओं को लखपति दीदी बनाने के लक्ष्यों को जल्द प्राप्त करने वाले हैं। माननीय सदस्यगण, नमो ड्रोन दीदी योजना भी देश के सुदूर अंचलों तक महिला सशक्तिकरण का एक पर्याय बनकर उभरी है। ये प्रशिक्षित ड्रोन दीदी अब आधुनिक तकनीक से जरिए एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर को ट्रांसफॉर्म कर रहे हैं। मेरी सरकार महिलाओं की आर्थिक उन्नति के साथ साथ अनेक पोषण, स्वास्थ्य और शिक्षा जैसी सभी विषयों पर ध्यान दे रही है। सितंबर के महीने में चलाए गए स्वस्थ नारी सशक्त परिवार अभियान के तहत लगभग 7 करोड़ महिलाओं की स्वास्थ्य जांच हुई है। इस अभियान ने महिलाओं को त्वरित इलाज शुरू करने में मदद की है। माननीय सदस्यगण, मेरी सरकार की प्रगतिशील सोच और नीतियों के परिणाम स्वरूप देश के हर महत्वाकांक्षी क्षेत्र में महिलाएं तेजी से आगे बढ़ी है। इसी दिशा में कुछ ही महीने पहले देश ने एक और बड़ा माइलस्टोन हासिल किया है। राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा अकादमी यानी NDA में महिला कैडेट्स का पहला बैच पास आउट हुआ है। इससे ये विश्वास और मजबूत हुआ है कि देश के विकास और सशक्तिकरण में नारी शक्ति सबसे आगे खड़ी है।
Let's cut back to the pictures of Baramati, where Ajit Pawar's plane has crashed. That was the president's address in Parliament as the budget session begins. We're cutting back to the story of Ajit Pawar, who has passed away in a plane crash this morning. We've been getting you the live pictures and the latest reports. In fact, there is an update coming in from Maharashtra, where investigators say that they're looking into all aspects of what led to the crash. Those are pictures that are coming in from Baramati. We have some more details that we're picking up. And as per the details available, as of this minute, the Maharashtra police stating that a thorough investigation will be conducted into the plane crash to determine the exact cause. Investigators will meticulously examine the wreckage at the crash site and take photographs to determine the aircraft's speed and the angle of impact. The black box will be analyzed to assess the aircraft's technical condition, airworthiness at the time of the flight. Officials will also review all pre-flight maintenance records. The cockpit voice recorder will be reviewed to understand the pilot's previous conversations and decisions, while official communications between the pilots and air traffic control will be examined. weather conditions, runway conditions, and wind directions are being taken into account during the investigation which has begun at the site. These are some more details we are picking up from the crash site. Ladies and gentlemen, as we pick up more details, investigators are already on the site right now as we speak, looking into the details. The Civil Aviation Ministry has also sought a report on the crash. Civil Aviation Ministry has directed the DGCA to submit a detailed report. Preliminary information suggests the aircraft that was carrying Ajit Pawar overran the runway during the landing at the Baramati airport. So this is big. The first initial detail we're picking up of what may have crashed, what may have led to the fatal crash at the Baramati airport. Preliminary information suggesting the aircraft may have overrun the runway during the landing at the Baramati airport. Immediately after the crash, the exact cause of the crash landing is being ascertained. That's the site of the crash where investigation is on as we speak. And the DGCA has also initiated a technical and operational review. I repeat, the DGCA has initiated a technical and operational review after the crash. There are some breaking details that are coming in. Once again, repeating the details that we have right now, the Civil Aviation Ministry has sought a report on the crash. Civil Aviation Ministry has directed the DGCA to submit a detailed report. Preliminary information suggesting that the aircraft overran the runway during the landing at the Baramati airport, and immediately after the crash, immediately after the incident, the exact cause of the crash landing is yet to be ascertained. DGCA has initiated a technical and operational review. This is what we have so far. This is the breaking news update on the crash. We have tributes pouring in and eyewitnesses also speaking on ANI, news agencies live streaming from the site. We have some reactions coming in of eyewitnesses who were at the site or close to the site.
आम्ही खूप घाबरलेलो त्यावेळेस दोन्ही साईडला दोन बॉड्या पडल्या होत्या आणि ती पूर्ण एक बॉडी ना चेहरा तर काही दिसत नव्हता पण पूर्ण पांढरा शिपत माणूस आणि असे पूर्ण फुगलेली बॉडी होती दोन बॉड्या साईडला पडल्या बाकीच्या बॉड्या पूर्ण आत होत्या आणि खूप मोठा जाळ होता तिथं आम्ही लय घाबरलेलो आणि मग आम्ही तुला आठवते आम्ही गोजबावीमध्ये राहतो आणि आमच्या पाठीमागेच विमानतळ म्हणजे एरोप्लेनची धावपट्टी आहे आणि ते आम्ही बाहेर काम करत असताना अगोदर आलेलं विमान ते आम्ही म्हणजे पाहिलेलं पण ते असं चांगलं गेलेलं वरून उडून गेलं ते रिटर्न फिरून परत माघारी आलं आणि गावाकडे गेलं तर गावाकडून आल्यानंतर ते खूप खाली म्हणजे आलतं आणि खाली आल्यानंतर आम्ही बाहेरच होतो ते असं वरती जायचं ते धावपट्टीच्या कडेला असं ते क्रॅश झालं आणि क्रॅश झाल्याबरोबर असं पलटी होऊन त्याचा असा मोठा स्फोट झाला मग आम्ही पाहिलेलं आम्ही बाहेरच होतो तेव्हा म्हणजे 8:45 पावणे 9ला ही घटना झालेली मग आम्ही खूप घाबरलेलो आमच्या घराच्या पाठीमागे त्याचे पाठ सगळे पडलेले होते आलेले मग आम्ही सगळे म्हणजे पट्टीवरती माणसं आहेत ना एरोप्लेनची त्यांना फोन केलं त्यांना कळवलं ते नंतर आले पोलीस हे आले मग ते अग्निशामक आला आणि ते खूप मोठा म्हणजे जाळ झालेला 15 मिनिटं असा विजत नव्हता ते सगळे आले असे म्हणजे उभा राहिलेले मग नंतर विजवला आणि ते पोलीस आल्यानंतर आमच्या घरी आले म्हणले पाणी द्या मग आम्ही एवढा मोठा जाळ झाला की म्हणजे बादल्या नेल त्या पाण्याच्या पण आम्ही काहीच करू शकलो नाही तरी पण त्या दिल्या आणि साईडला
के उप मुख्यमंत्री है वो नहीं रहे प्लेन क्रैश में उनका देहांत हो गया अभी विश्वास ही नहीं हो रहा है कि अजीत दादा महाराष्ट्र के दादा हमारे बीच में नहीं रहे मेरा खुद का पर्सनल उनके साथ रैपो बहुत अच्छा था कौटुंबिक रिलेशन थे जब से मैं बहुत छोटी थी उन्होंने मुझे दादा ने देखा है जब मैं एमएलए थी तो मेरे कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी के लिए उन्होंने स्पेशल फंड दिया था जिसके काम आज चालू है और हर एक के आंख में आज आंसू आ रहे चाहे वो उनकी पार्टी में हो या नहीं हो लेकिन दादा जिस तरह से काम करते थे उनका एक एग्रेसिव तरीका असर्टिव तरीका था ऑफिसर्स से जिस तरह से बोलते थे कि काम ये इसका काम होना चाहिए सब कार्यकर्ताओं के लिए सब पदाधिकारियों के लिए एक सॉफ्ट जगह उन्होंने अपने दिल में बनाई थी उनकी काम करने की तरीका अभी तक किसी को आया नहीं है और ना इसके आगे आएगा जब भी मेरा कुछ काम रहता था चाहे वो बोरामणी एयरपोर्ट का हो या कुछ हो या शोलापुर का एक फोन उनका पीए एक देता था एक फोन में लेते थे कि बोल गो प्रणीति का है और मुझे विश्वास नहीं हो रहा है जिस प्लेन से वो जा रहे थे, वो प्लेन उनका हमेशा उनका प्लेन था और सॉलिड प्लेन था। ये क्रैश उनके होम टाउन बारामती में होना, उनके गांव में होना, मैं अंदाज भी नहीं कर सकती कि वहां के लोगों को क्या हो रहा है। और मैं श्रद्धांजलि,
बहुत बड़ा नुकसान हुआ। मैं पर्सनली जानता था, उनको बारामती का राजा कहते थे, राजनीति का राजा कहते थे। आज एक राजा चले गए, बहुत ही दुखद।
दौड़ा दी।
All right, so there you're seeing the visuals from the crash site. A tragic incident took place Wednesday morning when we got the news that Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar was killed in a crash landing of a plane. It was his personal plane, a charter plane, which actually took off at 7 a.m. from Mumbai. It was heading towards Baramati, where it actually made an emergency, it tried to make an emergency landing, but it crash landed in Baramati. You're seeing the visuals on your screen of massive fire was seen earlier, then thick plumes of smoke. We are also getting reactions. Our Defense Minister.
Well, in fact, the latest information now coming in, Ajit Pawar's family members, which includes his son Parth Pawar, they're going to be flown to Pune. The information that we've just got from Mumbai is that Sharad Pawar, who was basically heading towards